You know how they always say you should never go to bed angry or you should never start your day pissed off, Johnny?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, that rule has been broken today. Good morning.
Okay. I'm a little concerned because you don't usually ever start a day like that.
No, I don't.
You never do.
But every once in a while you wake up and you see something that took place and you think about a lot of other things in the past. And I'm talking about World Series game number 5 last night, in which the Toronto Blue Jays beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 6-1, and Toronto is now up 3-2 in the series. So the series is not over.
No,
the
not
Dodgers could still come back and win the next two, and the Dodgers could be World Series champions in back-to-back seasons. But I woke up this morning and went to bed last night pissed off because I watched a lot of that game. But at some point, I got to go night-night. But when I saw that the Blue Jays were able to hold on to victory, I woke up this morning pissed off because the first thing I could think of is second best team, my ass.
That's the truth. And I already know. I mean, look what they tried to spin. Dave Dombrowski tried to spin to this fan base that the Phillies went up against an unstoppable pitching staff, and that's the reason they lost.
They just ran into a good club. Those were his words.
And they did run into a good club.
No, they did.
But you know what, though? The Toronto Blue Jays have proven to you that there could be other good clubs.
Right, and it was also a defeatist attitude, right? And so, as I continue to think about this stuff and think about the future of what will be the Phillies next year, because there's a million decisions that they have to make about their current roster, free agents, trades that they can make, people in their farm system.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why I'm pissed off, because it's not just the fact that the Blue Jays are up 3-2 in the series. I don't want it to be such a very low-educated opinion that, Blue Jays are up 3-2 in the series, I'm pissed off. No. It's how they're up 3-2 in the series. And last night, think about this for a second. It was almost like the FU Phillies idea game. All right? Trey Savage, first and foremost, congratulations. Boyertown, local kid.
Yes.
Having an incredible story coming up and pitching in the postseason. The Game 1 start of the World Series for the Blue Jays
last night.
That's
his third road game ever.
And the Game 5 starter. He got called up late in the season. You know he only made 3 starts?
Yeah, but you're not allowed to do that. I looked up the rule book last night because I'm a Phillies fan. I didn't realize. I looked and I said, that has to be illegal. Nope. You're not allowed to just, throw youngsters into a pennant race.
It is allowed. It is.
Are you sure, or is it just a Canadian rule?
No.
Maybe there's
allowed
a rule for Canadian teams.
It's allowed in the United States as well.
Well, Rob Thompson should know it then.
Yeah, exactly.
Trey Savage was called up by the Blue Jays in September. He made his debut on September the 15th, made 3 starts in the regular season, and has been a force for them throughout the playoffs. Now,
he starts Game 1 and Game 5 of the World Series.
Yeah, and the pivotal Game 5, when the series is tied 2-2, they're now up 3-2. Now, obviously, pitching was not necessarily a need for the Phillies, but that does not mean you couldn't have called up other young players that could have provided a spark for your team, like, I don't know, Justin Crawford, who Dave Dombrowski has said over and over and over again, he's big league ready. There's just not a place to play him.
Really?
And yet, Max Kepler is going to be gone after this season. Nick Castellanos is going to be gone after this season. Who knows about Brandon Marsh? He could be a trade piece. Who knows if Harrison Bader comes back? We don't know. So the player that they believe is major league ready, that's a big part of their future moving forward, they had no place to play him, which is kind of disappointing to me. And I don't want to hear from anybody that says, well, you don't want to call up a young kid to try to be your savior come postseason. No, obviously it still starts with Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber and those guys. But sparks are nice, and you had no spark. And then I'll even go further, because Trey Savage only pitched 7 incredible innings when he struck out 12. They had to get 6 outs from their bullpen.
Yeah.
And who were the guys that got the 6 outs?
Don't start.
Let's go with Sir Anthony Dominguez pitching a scoreless 8th inning, who you traded away for Austin Hayes because you thought it just wasn't going to work here anymore. And then the man that ended the game, not a safe situation, John, so maybe that's why he pitched so well. Jeff Hoffman got the final 3 outs for the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday en route to their 6-1 win over the Los Angeles Dodgers. So a 23-year-old phenom, 2 former members of your bullpen, and against a good club. I woke up this morning pissed off.
And a guy who wanted to be here in Jeff Hoffman.
Literally has Phillies tattooed on his shoulder.
He wanted to be here, and you had him on your roster, and you had Estevez on your roster, and you said, nope, we're good. We're going to let both of them walk. And then we're going to have to go and mortgage young pieces in order to try to get Johan Duran in here. It just is, to me, it was a mismanagement. But more importantly, the mismessaging of the offseason. We're the second best team, and that's really how he tried to spin it. That the Phillies are the second best team.
Yeah.
They played the wrong team at the wrong time. One of the quotes. Wrong team, wrong time. Well, you know what's funny is Toronto's not finding it that way.
Honestly, wrong team, wrong time. That's such a weak thing to say.
You know what he's going to say next, though? I'll predict it right now. I'll predict it. It's going to come in some interview
The
this
Dodgers
offseason.
went cold at the wrong time.
And that's what he's going to say.
I hate that.
And that's what he's going to use. He's going to go, well, I mean, look, the Dodgers are great. He goes, but look, like anybody, like us, their bats went cold at the wrong time. No, they didn't. What happened is Toronto outpitched them. And by the way, Toronto's manager and the Dodgers manager, if you watch the series, have not given away a game. Their decisions are not being scrutinized on a daily basis going, wow, what was that strategy? That's a difference, too. They have managers who actually don't make themselves the story by doing stuff that they haven't done all year long.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing to me. It's annoying as hell. Yeah. I had a good friend in the building last night with his sons, and he says, I get the F on the first pitch, home run.
Oh, my God.
Text.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then I get the double F.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like it was 2 seconds later. And I'm like, well, yeah, it started out well.
Now, I'm just going to add one more thing that just drives me nuts one step
What's
further.
that?
Because the Phillies have been really bad at international signings, as we know.
Yeah, they've
over
been
the
really
years.
bad.
It's why you look at the starting lineup and you go, huh.
They look a little,
They all look alike.
yeah.
The year Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was signed by the Blue Jays was one of the more historic classes of international signing, which included Juan Soto as well as Fernando Tatis Jr.
Sure.
The Phillies had got Jalen Ortiz, who never sniffed the big leagues.
Now, remember, though, it's not like they went out of their way like that. The Blue Jays were smarter either. These were guys that were obvious talents you want to go after.
Yeah.
There are guys that, the
Pedigree.
yeah, they have pedigree. They have name recognition.
You got Jalen Ortiz, who never.
So it's not like you have
never
to be
sniffed
smart
the
to get it
big
right
leagues. No.
either. It's really
unbelievable.
It sucks, but okay. Look, I've been rooting for Canada.
Yeah,
I'm
look,
rooting
you
against.
hope they beat the Dodgers.
I want them to beat the Dodgers because I think that it just takes away the talking point of, well, we lost to a better team. We're the second best team.
Yeah.
Such a bunch of crap.
So coming up next, we're going to get to some of the narratives that is coming out from Philadelphia media members. Because
Oh, yeah?
let's face it, during the offseason, sometimes, hey, why don't you, here's a little nugget for you. Why don't you put a story out there? Or this is what we're feeling. Why don't you write something about that?
Hey, we're looking
or,
at that, yes.
Or we'll have a talking point. Remember, a couple years ago, that was what I think the Eagles did with Nolan Smith. Now,
they
it
absolutely
worked out
did.
for them, but remember, it was that when the whole Hassan Reddick situation was going down, there's a random out-of-nowhere tweet by Ian Rappaport in, like, March. They think really high of Nolan Smith.
Of course they
And
did.
it's like, wow, that's a really random tweet to put out in March. Teams do this kind of stuff. So coming up next, we'll look through some of the narratives. But notice Connor's not playing the music going into commercial break, and I'm not trying to do like the super tease so that you can try to stick around. We do want to address something. Horrible, horrible news yesterday from down the hall over at our friends with WMMR, the passing of Pierre Robert at the age of 70. And,
gosh.
John, I mean, not to age you. You're older than me, but you know
Yes.
that Pierre Robert has been a Philadelphia
Dude.
staple. And I'm not even saying just radio. All right, like I know that he is an icon in radio, over 40 years at one radio station, which in this industry,
well,
yeah, God bless you.
I don't know how you do it.
No idea. But
amazing.
He's a Philadelphia icon and a music icon, and the outpouring of emotion that you saw on social media yesterday, not just by listeners of Pierre's over the years at MMR, but the amount of musicians and
Stars.
bands.
No, stars. Big stars.
The incredible Instagram post by Bon Jovi about Pierre, it just shows how much he sort of just gained the attention from musical artists from all over the country, not just East Coast. And so it was really sad to hear about the passing of Pierre Robert yesterday.
And a shocker.
Yeah.
Because you get used to seeing people in the hallways or bumping into them around. And it's weird that you say that about the older. Yeah, older. I can tell you this, as Pierre Robert, I just looked at my high school classmates last night and college classmates.
Yeah.
And the amount of them that posted about the impact that a guy that none of them knew
Yeah.
made. And I can only tell you that when I got here to this building, there were two people that I met that I hugged when I met them.
Yeah.
John DeBella
Right.
and Pierre Robert.
Yeah.
Because to me, I was meeting royalty.
Yeah.
And anytime you got a chance to just come across Pierre and chat with him, he was somebody who asked you, and I said it to my wife yesterday. He was somebody who asked you how you were doing, and I do it too often in life that it's like I'm making conversation. He actually
he actually cared.
He actually was listening, and he challenged me once that when my hair grew back full, that if I had guts, I would let it go like his. I never had those guts because I'm not Pierre Robert.
God bless the Grateful Dead.
God bless him.
And God bless Pierre Robert. Also, Harry Donahue.
And Harry
passed away
Donahue,
as
part of
well.
our Temple family.
Voice of the Temple Owls, football and basketball for many, many years. So a sad day yesterday in the media world and, of course, just Philadelphia, because those are two Philadelphia staples.
I guarantee your
that
mom
we
and
lost
dad
yesterday. Oh,
listen
absolutely.
to a lot
School
of
closings.
Pierre over the day.
Oh, and
no,
Pierre.
under Pierre. I mean, over
Harry
the day.
Donahue school closings and Pierre Robert on MMR. So our hearts go out to our family right down the hall. All right, coming up next, we'll talk about these narratives about the Phillies coming from the Philly media here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
This hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
It is 6:16 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. I woke up pissed off this morning because I watched the Dodgers lose yesterday, down 3-2 in the series to the Blue Jays. And so it just shoots down a couple of narratives that, Phillies are the second best team in Major League Baseball. They just ran into a good club. They just ran into great pitching. The Blue Jays have not had much trouble at all scoring runs against that great pitching that is the Los Angeles Dodgers. And don't give me that they ran out of gas or some crap like that.
Why, though, when you watch the Blue Jays, because when I watch the Blue Jays, and I've said it before, I don't see the Phillies at all.
Oh, it's a complete line. They hit with runners in scoring position,
and they take pitches, and they work counts, and their approach at the plate is so wonderful to watch.
They scored 6 runs yesterday, 2 home runs, both solo shots. Right, the other 4 runs were where they scratched and clawed their way into scoring runs, and they scored 6. The Phillies struggled offensively against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and once again, lights were too bright. They got tight and they fell apart. And so I want to just sort of attack a couple of narratives that are coming out right now.
What now?
First and foremost, I think he does a tremendous job on the broadcasts, and I do think his baseball mind is very sound. But I saw what Ruben Amaro Jr. wrote for NBC Sports Philadelphia about how basically exactly what Dave Dombrowski's saying. They're right there. They're super close. They don't have to do much drastic changes because they're right there. And I'm like,
they're not.
No,
they're not.
Come on, man.
They're not.
Rube.
Stop
it. You're a former GM in Major League Baseball. Like, I need a little bit more than they're close.
And if you were that close, you would be getting closer or knocking on the door. The Phillies have not come close to knocking in the door since 2022. Well, 2023 they should have been, and they didn't. I mean, they haven't been close. They haven't been close in a while. It's like this is such a bad message because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
it really doesn't.
It doesn't. And the other thing that I'm seeing a lot of that's really getting on my nerves is there's a chance they trade Alec Bohm, right? And I think we'd all be kind of okay with it at this point.
Yeah, why not?
But it's not to trade for another third baseman. It's to trade whatever you can get for Alec Bohm at this point because last year they tried getting Barry Bonds and they couldn't do that. There's a lot of over-the-top pro Otto Kemp pieces out there right now, and that's when I bring up the Nolan Smith thing from a few years ago. Like there was nothing for the Eagles to have had that much confidence in Nolan Smith, but I think they knew what was happening with Hassan Reddick. And a lot of people wanted Reddick back, right? We all did. I know it takes 2 to tango. But we all wanted Hassan Reddick back.
I only wanted him back on the contract that he was being paid.
Correct.
I did not want him back. I did not want him back if you were going to have to renegotiate with him.
Right. And then all of a sudden the random Ian Rappaport, hey, Nolan Smith is really catching the attention of the Eagles. And I'm like, that's a random out-of-nowhere story to throw out there.
I wonder where that came from.
And we're getting a lot of that with Otto Kemp right now. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, he was a nice story. Like, it was fun. He deserved to get called up because he was mashing AAA pitching. And he had some moments for the Phillies this year, but are we really honest with ourselves if we think Otto Kemp could be your starting third baseman?
Is Otto Kemp playing in that series like right now? Like is a player like Otto Kemp playing for either team right now?
No. Absolutely not.
No. So I mean, that's where those narratives have to stop. They got to stop. Stop trying to sell us quad A players as being everyday guys. Now look, if you're telling me Otto Kemp's a part of the 26 Phillies,
sure,
I'm totally in.
Yeah,
I'm totally in.
You're starting third baseman.
If you're telling me he's a key part of them winning,
yeah, get the heck out of here.
Come on, stop it.
By the way, in Rube's piece, under the radar trade options, can you call Luis Robert Jr. an under the radar when he's been talked about for like 5 years now? They've
been leaving him by the curb on trash day. Are you kidding me? It's Delco Trash Night. You can drive around and you can find him out there.
Oh,
that's incredible. We're in bed. We've come to an era, though, in local media where there are many more fans in the media than there are media members. And I grew up in an era in this town where the media was not there to be fans of the team, to shake pom-poms for the team. They were just there to report on the teams and everything. There's a lot of media now. It's very blurred where there's a lot of pom-pom shaking for the local teams. And a lot of that comes but a lot of that comes with new quote-unquote media. And I don't consider media of a team to be anybody who doesn't have a credential. If you're not there, if you can't go in the locker room, if you can't go on the field, if you can't talk to players directly, then you're just a fan watching games. And that's cool.
Yeah, but
and that's awesome.
It might not just be that. You also understand, hey, I'll write this Kemp piece if you give me.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Sure,
they shop these stories.
Sure, I'll write the Kemp story if you want to tell me about some off-season signing before you tell anybody else.
Absolutely.
We're getting a lot of that
This stuff gets sold all the time.
Speaking of sold stories, can't wait to get into the A.J. Brown article later on today.
There's another one.
All right, coming up next, don't worry. It's not just a Phillies bitch fest today, even though I did wake up pissed off, which is one thing I never like to do after the Blue Jays took a 3-2 series last night against the Dodgers. We'll check our text line coming up next. If you're somebody who bought into that narrative of they were the second best team, has your mind changed? And for those of you who were like us and never bought into the nonsense, are you angry today or are you just so defeated that you don't care anymore? 610-632-0975. But coming up next, we have a new Eagle to talk about. Howie Roseman was busy. We'll get into it next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles busy on the bye week. I'm Connor Thomas, and it was an off night in Philly sports, but the Eagles, who are having their week off for the bye, were busy anyway. They traded John Mechie III and a 2027 sixth-round pick to the New York Jets for cornerback Michael Carter II and a 2027 seventh-round pick. So a draft pick swap, but adding a corner. And Jeff McClain of the Inquirer joined us earlier in the week, and he talked about potential trade deadline moves for the Birds.
I wouldn't say obvious needs, but there are areas that you can address. The edge rusher position, cornerback, yeah. I guess everyone's talking about possibly the wide receiver, but that's not going to happen. So maybe one's possible. It could happen soon, too.
Well, it did happen soon, Jeff, and we could look at more than that with the trade deadline on November 4th for the NFL. That's next Tuesday. We'll keep an eye on the Eagles until then. Flyers are back on the ice tonight at the Xfinity Mobile Arena as the Nashville Predators come to town. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Sixers are off again tonight. They'll play the Celtics at home tomorrow night. Union take on the Chicago Fire in Game 2 of their playoff series up in Chicago this coming Saturday. The Blue Jays last night, they beat the Dodgers 6-1 in Game 5 of the World Series, taking a 3-2 lead in that series. We'll talk to Jake Asman of ESPN New York coming up at 8:55 for the latest on the newest Eagle, Michael Carter II. I'm Connor Thomas on your own for the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.
Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic on this Thursday morning, a rainy one. Drive safely. It was a freaking mess.
That was bad.
Coming in this morning. Not as much traffic when we're driving, Johnny, but there was a lot of cars driving really slow, and I can only imagine what it's going to be like as we get closer and closer to rush hour. I imagine it's even worse right now. So just drive safely, everybody out there, and
Be careful.
Listen to us. We'll try not to piss you off too much while you're driving in.
And remember, your hazards are only supposed to be on when you were pulled over.
Exactly.
When your car is not moving is when you use your hazards, not when your car is driving.
All right. We'll get to our text line here momentarily. I woke up pissed off this morning after the Blue Jays beat the Dodgers, taking a 3-2 series lead. A 22-year-old comes up.
A local kid.
From Boyertown, Pottstown. I've seen a little bit of both. But 22-year-old Trey Savage. Phillies are always afraid to call up young players. The only player they decided to call up was Otto Kemp, who I think was, 26 already?
Yeah, I think Otto Kemp is you have to be at least eligible for AARP.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what this Phillies team does, and yet 26 years old, Otto Kemp. The Phillies don't do that
But he's a
stuff.
youngster.
Yeah, he's a young 26. Trey Savage comes up in September and was their Game 1 and Game 5 starters in the World Series. And the 6 outs they got from the bullpen yesterday, Sir Anthony Dominguez in the 8th, Jeff Hoffman in the 9th, and the lineup did not go ice cold against one of the more historic rotations in playoff history with the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, they got guys like Walter, and one of our good listeners, Walter
McCray. I saw
he
it.
says, John, I've seem to remember you lamenting the Dodgers were the one team you didn't want to face in the playoffs. I said, yeah, I said that they were the only team in the NL that I thought would be able to beat the Phillies. But if you see then where you watch the series and poor decisions by your manager and terrible approach at the plate loses you 3 winnable games in a 5-game series, you don't have to beat yourself.
Yeah, no.
You don't have to be the team. You had a chance to beat the Dodgers.
You didn't just run into a good club. You shot yourself in the foot
Constantly.
All right, we'll get to our text line here soon because I want to know from people, for those of you who did buy into that narrative, because I know there's a lot of you.
Well, Walter's
Second
still
best
buying
team,
into it.
second best team. Do you still buy into that narrative? Or if you never did, like us, are you pissed off today, or are you just like, I'm so beaten down, I can't even care about it?
How do you think most people will answer that?
Beaten down for the people that never bought into the narrative, and I think there will be people that will still have bought into the narrative.
Connor?
I don't think many people are going to change.
I don't think the party lines are moving on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that it will.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. I'm anxious to see the results.
And that's fine. You can have your opinion. I'm
Sure.
more pissed off this morning. Michael Carter Williams. Michael Carter the second.
Really?
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Michael Carter the second, the newest member of the Philadelphia Eagles, played with the New York Jets. Former 5th-round draft pick that's put together a pretty good career. 26 years old. You hit the nail on the head, the nail on the nail, whatever. Joe Douglas, a big part of that. And
Sure,
his
Joe
time
Douglas
in New
drafted
York.
him, 3rd-day draft pick.
And now Joe Douglas, a part of the front office again with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I imagine there was some information being fed to Howie from JD.
Yeah, I think it's good information. Look, he's better than some of the options you had back there. So when I was looking at it with a roster, is your roster better today than it was yesterday? Yes. Michael Carter makes your roster better today. How much better, though?
Yeah, look, I mean,
I don't know. I haven't watched enough of them. I go to YouTube. So
Right.
immediately I'm going to, and we'll have Jake Assman joining us later on, who is a Jets, he's with the Jets 24/7, covering them, talking about them. He'll join us. I think it's a mixed bag of reviews.
Sure.
But look, I'll take the flyer for it.
And it's a flyer because you traded John Mechie and a 6th-round pick in 2027 for Michael Carter II, and you got a 7th-round pick in return, same draft, 2027. So it's not like you traded a 3rd-round pick or
Right, exactly.
or you traded a player that's been impactful for you.
It's a low-risk move.
Mechie hasn't been, right? So he's done nothing. So Michael Carter II, the newest member of the Eagles, Emmanuel Acho, who's now trying to go away from Hot Take
Takes,
Media
yeah.
to trying to do film breakdown. This was Emmanuel Acho and his analysis on Michael Carter II.
All right, Eagles fans, just did a crash course watching film on Michael Carter II. Here's what you need to know. When he's healthy, he's a really, really, really good nickel cornerback. What that will do is that will move Cooper DeJean likely to the outside. Now, the dilemma is this. 2024, Michael Carter II, he took a nosedive as it pertains to his talent level. He graded, for what it's worth, 88 out of 89 eligible cornerbacks as it pertains to pass defense grade, minimum of 80 coverage snaps. When the dude is healthy, he can play. I like him a lot in man coverage. Just finished watching his tape against the Bengals game, albeit he only got 13 snaps in that game, several special team snaps as well because he recently got replaced. When he's healthy, he can cover. But the biggest thing is the Eagles' weakness on defense right now is outside cornerback. You move Cooper DeJean to outside cornerback, outside Quinyon Mitchell. Then you move Michael Carter II into that slot cornerback position, and you should be set. Let's not get our hopes too much up because the 2023 season of which he dominated, by which he got paid the highest amount ever at the nickelback position, 3 years, $30 million, we're years away from that. Does he still have that talent within him? Absolutely. But he's had a back injury, a shoulder injury, and a concussion. If he can stay healthy, he'll be a dude. Eagles defense will turn a weakness into a strength. But the biggest thing is, can he stay healthy?
Now, here's the one thing with Emmanuel Acho. Are you sure that Cooper DeJean is just getting kicked to the outside?
I don't believe he is.
Because we'll play it for you coming up next. Vic Fangio has been asked this question numerous times, and he's against it. He's against kicking Cooper DeJean to the outside. But I asked you guys a couple of weeks ago, could it be necessary to do it? I don't want to. You know how I feel. You know how I value the slot corner position, and clearly Vic Fangio does as well. And Cooper DeJean is one of, if not the best at it in the game right now. But you might need to, out of necessity, kick him out to the outside. You'll hear from Vic Fangio coming up next. But real quick, what do we got on the text line, Connor, at 610-632-0975?
All right, so we have a bunch of people checking in on this Phillies conversation. Chris from the Northeast says, watching this World Series infuriates me even more. You can see great playoff performance pitching can stifle a dangerous lineup. A few timely clutch hits by Turner, Schwarber, and Harper, and we could have been in the World Series. Also, I truly believe Harper would have seen much better pitches if he had protection, not pencil bat Bohm, and that falls on Dombrowski.
That's a big part of it. Alex Bohm batting fourth is part of the reason why this team is the way that it is.
Then why are you swinging your crap outside the zone? How many pitches did Bryce Harper give them? They weren't even throwing him strikes half the time. So stop that.
Because he's trying to play hero
well, then
ball.
that's just dumb.
Well, the guy behind him can hit a home run once a millennium.
Yeah,
so
but you don't swing at stuff outside the zone. Watch the Blue Jays.
Somebody's got to create
watch
something.
the Blue Jays.
I agree with you, but I could also look at the Blue Jays lineup and be like, yeah.
Sure you can, but they're not
deeper.
chasing. They also don't chase a bunch of crap.
All right, coming up next, if Michael Carter was the move, what does that mean for Cooper DeJean? You'll hear from Vic Fangio, and you'll hear from our Birds insider, Andrew Juchecko, who also broke down what he has seen out of Michael Carter II, and more of your text messages. I woke up damn pissed off this morning. It's Kincade Salciunas 97.5. Fanatic. Waking up pissed off after watching the Blue Jays beat the Dodgers, going up 3-2, and seeing young players that get called up because it is allowed, believe it or not.
I checked the rules, by the way, and I'm looking at the Phillies. It doesn't seem like they do that.
They're the only ones that don't, and former members of the Phillies bullpen that we did not want to see gone are part of the reason why the Blue Jays are up 3-2 in the series. But, of course, we're also reacting to the trade for Michael Carter II. We played you the Emmanuel Acho breakdown in the previous segment. This was our own Andrew DeCecco yesterday with Unfiltered talking about the Eagles' newest addition.
They got a corner who is really sticky in coverage. He's instinctual. He has 26 career pass breakups, 65 games, 25 starts, but he's primarily a nickel corner, which I think is interesting because if you go back to what Vic Fangio had to say in his weekly press conference on Tuesday, he pretty much poured cold water on the notion of Cooper playing outside. But he also said, when asked about, is it easier to find a slot corner than it is a nickel, he said, no, you may be correct, but we haven't solved that here yet. While I'm not suggesting that he might be a solution, it seems likely that with his experience there, it now gives the Eagles some optionality should they want to move Cooper DeJean to the outside and strengthen that. And then all of a sudden you have that cornerback pairing of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean.
So you heard DeCecco mention it himself, that Vic Fangio earlier this week was like, yeah, no, we really like Coop at the slot corner. And
he's one of the best in the league at that, so I'm going to have to really be sold on why you would want to take a great strength and make it weaker.
And here's one way to look at it, right? We all love Jeff Stoutland, right? Everybody respects Jeff Stoutland,
absolutely.
And if Jeff Stoutland told you to jump, you'd say how high, that's the kind of respect that Jeff Stoutland has from the Philadelphia Eagles and also from the Eagles fan base. And I would imagine that Vic Fangio gets that kind of respect from the Eagles and the Eagles fan base as well, or should. A lot of people would just say, just kick Cooper DeJean out to the outside. He's that good. Figure out slot from there. If you ever watch the Eagles offensive line, if somebody were to get hurt, how many times have we talked about moving Lane Johnson a left tackle over the years, right? That never ended up happening. How many times have you heard, oh, just kick this guy to the inside or kick this guy to the outside?
Over and over again.
Jeff Stoutland never wanted to impact two positions to try to fix one. If you move Cooper DeJean to the outside, Cooper DeJean, who I believe over time could figure out how to play outside corner, is going to have to try to figure it out on the fly. And then you're just going to put a guy, oh, by the way, Michael Carter II needs to figure out this defensive scheme. It's not like he just walks in here and knows the way the defense plays. You have time because you're on your bye week, and he's going to do a lot of film study and obviously the week of practice that they will have next week. But I don't think it's as simple as just move DeJean to the outside and put Michael Carter II at the slot.
I don't think it is either. And more importantly, it makes me wonder, is he brought in as a body? Is he brought in as one more veteran body that they can get up to speed so they have veteran depth out there, and then they can figure this out down the line? Like, I don't expect this to be dread. I don't expect to see Cooper DeJean as the outside corner.
I don't either.
Just don't. Situationally, yes.
Sure.
But not on a routine basis. I don't believe that's why they made this move. Could be wrong, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out soon enough.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, he's under contract for a couple more years as well. So you're bringing him in. And what did he do? He waived his injury
for
clause?
next year. Yes, $5 million guarantee. So if he gets injured, the Eagles can walk away without owing him $5 million against the cap.
And a lot of people looked at it like, oh, wow, that means he really wanted to come to the Philadelphia Eagles. Or it could have just been, oh, wow, he really wanted to leave the New York Jets.
Well,
that probably is part of it.
Can both be true?
Yeah,
both are true.
Yeah, because he's coming to a situation where he legitimately could win a Super Bowl, and he's leaving a situation where they legitimately might not win another game all season. So that's a pretty big win for Michael Carter.
Smart move.
Sorry for John Mechie.
Oh, look, John Mechie didn't. He had a chance to make their, they got their eyes on him every day.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, it was worth it.
You're just going from a 6-2 team to a 1-7 team. That's probably a bit of a rough moment to wake up to.
I would imagine.
Maybe he's taking a nap on the bye week. Think about that. They're on the bye. He may be on the island somewhere, right? Just enjoying some time off, and he gets a call from his agent. Hey,
you're a Jet now.
Yeah, that's like you waking up and you're getting a call from our boss Scott saying you're going to Minot, North Dakota. Have a good time.
Can they make
Talking
trades?
Bison football.
Can they make trades in radio?
They've tried with you, but they haven't found takers.
Are you kidding me? Don't underestimate him. Don't underestimate the boss. He knows what he's doing.
We'll get a conditional 7th.
It could be something.
Wait, you know what? I'll tell you. There are trades in radio. I don't know about personalities, but when Beasley first acquired Greater Media. We acquired XTU in the deal.
Oh, no. Teams trade organizations trade stations all the time. Yeah, sure.
I forget who was a part of the network that left.
Got to get that country
but
music.
we acquired 92.5 XTU.
So we got Candy Winters in the deal?
Yes, we did. You
We
didn't know?
did?
Yeah, man. The Beasleys.
That's unbelievable.
All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? At 610-632-0975. I was in the meeting when it happened.
Wow.
Nuts.
All right, we got people checking in on the Phillies who might need to make a couple of moves this offseason to make things happen. Ray from Center Valley says, I'm so glad the Blue Jays are doing what they're doing so we can stop this ridiculous narrative that the Phillies are the second best team in baseball. When your unsaid philosophy of winning is hopefully we get hot at the right time, your chances of winning the World Series are very small.
And you know what? Like, I was freaking pissed off about it before the playoffs started, and you guys, well, not you, John, my man in the other room, you try to calm me down, and he's saying what he's supposed to say. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of we need to get hot at the right time. We need to stop getting cold at the wrong time.
It's lame as hell.
Dude,
it's lame as hell.
I know we're at war, even though I think there was a ceasefire yesterday. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay,
but
good.
I want to give credit to our friends over at Unfiltered, because the day after the Dave Dombrowski end of season press conference, they played a game. Bill played a game on the air with Ricky and Silvana. Silvana didn't even know the answers of which press conference was it. And it was clips of Dave Dombrowski talking about we just didn't get hot at the right time.
1 year to the next.
And they had to pick, was it 23, 24, 25? And I'm listening to the segment, and I was getting them all wrong because they all sound the same. It's the exact same excuse year in and year out, despite the Dodgers. Yeah, sure, the Dodgers are a really good team. Tell me about the Mets. Tell me about the D-backs and why you lost to those teams. It drives me up a wall when I have to hear about how we just got called at the wrong time. We ran into the better team. So you know what? That texter is actually smart. That's second-level thinking.
That is really well done.
I'm being a caveman this morning, just angry, right? But that texter saying, you know what, this is actually a good thing because hopefully it wakes up the front office that you can't just run it back.
But they're not, because it's the way what they told you is exactly what they think. They think it. They think that it's this. We're close.
Can you stand by that now?
Well, what moves do they have? Like, how many moves can they realistically make to change the fabric of this team?
I think anything is open.
What Ruben's telling
what it
you
should be.
What Ruben is saying, though, when Ruben Amaro Jr. says, well, they're really close. They're close. They're right there on the edge. When he's saying that, first of all, Rube's very connected.
Yes.
He's hearing it. He's hearing that. And then he actually, this is what front office guys believe. They believe that they're close. So they're going to double down on old. And I worry about Cooper Salciunas. I worry about his generation because they are going to go through a few years where it's going to be awful.
Yeah, but
with
you know
these
what?
old man contracts.
Maybe Cooper Salciunas is a former member of the Phillies, and he's the guy that brings them out of the ashes.
Well, maybe someday. Could be.
When Bryce Harper's contract's up.
Exactly.
Is he a lefty or a righty?
He's a lefty bat. Throws righty. No, he's just like his old
Chase Utley,
he's
baby.
just like his old man. Hopefully more like Chase Utley.
Hopefully more like, yeah,
Coming
please.
up next, with all the noise surrounding A.J. Brown, we finally got that deep dive article that tries to explain who he is. We discuss that with you next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Howie makes a move. I'm Connor Thomas, and it was an off night in Philly sports last night, but the Eagles, who are on their bye week, were busy anyway. They traded John Mechie III and a 2027 sixth-round pick to the Jets for cornerback Michael Carter II and a 2027 seventh-round pick. We know Howie is busy around this time of the year with the trade deadline coming up. Andrew DeCecco joined Unfiltered yesterday, and he talked about the potential defensive back realignment as a result of this trade.
If you go back to what Vic Fangio had to say on Tuesday, he pretty much poured cold water on the notion of Cooper playing outside. But when asked about is it easier to find a slot corner than it is a nickel, he said, no, you may be correct, but we haven't solved that here yet.
We'll see if we see something different from the Birds in the secondary when they return from bye. The NFL trade deadline is this coming Tuesday, November 4th, so we'll keep an eye on other moves they could make. Flyers are back on the ice tonight at the Exmo. They'll take on the Nashville Predators. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Sixers are off again tonight. They'll play the Celtics at home tomorrow night. Union take on the Chicago Fire in Game 2 of their playoff series up in Chicago for this one on Saturday. And the Blue Jays beat the Dodgers 6-1 in Game 5 of the World Series, a 3-2 lead now for Toronto. Jake Asman of ESPN New York joins us at 8:55 for a little breakdown on Michael Carter II. This update's brought to you by Fox One. They're your home to stream live sports from NFL on Fox to Big Noon Saturdays, NASCAR, and more. This week, don't miss the Nittany Lions take on Ohio State. Download the Fox One app to stream. Fox One live sports streaming now. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
5 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. I chuckle because I just saw something on social media right before coming out of commercial.
What'd you see?
You know how on Twitter you get ads all of a sudden?
Sure. That's what my child does for a living. Make sure you get ads that fit you.
Well, I got an ad for LASIK. Now,
I wish I could get it.
Now, it's not for me personally because my eyesight, knock on wood, is still doing pretty well. Just don't ask my wife that because she says I can't see anything. But I am a sports fan, as are you and as are Connor.
Okay.
LASIK, the official Twitter account. Yes, this is real. Nominate a Major League Baseball Major League professional referee for free LASIK and score $1,000 off your own procedure.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
That's actually awesome.
That's good.
I love that. Can I nominate all of them?
Yes. Who?
Angel Hernandez.
Well, he's done.
He's
So
retired.
who wins?
Oh, no, you can't. You're right.
Like, who's the guy? Who's the ref right now? That like, I'm trying. I can't think of the ref right now.
Scott Foster would be a good NBA pick, but
Well,
he can
yeah.
see. He just chooses the wrong
Well,
thing.
no. He's strategic in his choice of calls.
Yeah.
He's the fixer.
He's the fixer.
basketball,
All right,
he's the
no,
fixer.
seriously, there's a reason why they call him that.
He's the fixer. Look, that's the way it is.
Hello, Chauncey Billups.
But it's like, yeah, I mean, it's
Just nuts. All right, real quick before we get to the A.J. Brown article, that first and foremost, before we even dive into it, it was very, very well written. Brooks Cubana is a tremendous writer. All right,
doing a great job.
tremendous writer for The Athletic. We will, though, talk about the timing of said article here momentarily. But I want to read one quote from Ruben Amaro Jr. I was going to read it to John during the break. I said, you know what? Let me just
hear this.
let me just get this reaction live on the air. So I woke up pissed off this morning, in case you guys are just tuning in, because the Blue Jays are up 3-2 in their series. They have young players that were called up late. God forbid the Phillies ever do that. Sir Anthony Dominguez and Jeff Hoffman got 6 outs yesterday, not allowing a run. And they're beating the Dodgers, who the Phillies just ran into a good club, and that's why
that's why
the Phillies lost, and hopefully they don't face them next year. Well, the Blue Jays have no issue with it. So Ruben Amaro Jr. looked at the 2025 Phillies as a team that was elite that just simply ran out of steam. But here's the quote, Johnny.
Oh, it's going to get me mad?
They were the best team in the National League East. They were arguably one of the best teams, if not the best team, in the National League. It was just a couple of base hits and a couple of pitches away from being back in the World Series.
Well, if you're going to do the ifs and buts were candies and nuts, no, they were not the best team in the National League. The Brewers were that. The Brewers went down in flames, too, because the Brewers couldn't do what the Dodgers did. Have disciplined at bats, come up big and clutch when you need to, and not give away outs. I mean, I love this. Like we got to take into context how this team plays baseball.
Yeah, and it's the same ending the last 3 years.
And by the way, no, I think the endings have gotten actually sort of worse. The Mets loss was the worst.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The Dodgers,
because
though,
they were lifeless.
The Dodgers, you won one game, and the other 3 games were absolutely winnable.
Yeah.
Every one of them. And you just didn't come through, or you shot yourself in the foot in every one of those games with managerial decisions, which I'll continue to insist they go into a series at a disadvantage.
Right. And to say just a couple of base hits, that Teoscar Hernandez base hit in game 1, it wasn't a base hit, guys. It was a go-ahead 3-run home run.
Right.
And
it wasn't a base hit.
The guys coming out of the bullpen were problematic, and they were all series. And, oh, by the way, those are the guys. Matt Strahm, he's here next year.
Yeah.
Orion Kerkering, if they don't give him a change of scenery, will be back here next year. Like, the guys that fell apart for you in the postseason are – a lot of those guys are going to be back here next
And it sounds like they want to bring back the guy who screwed over the entire team with his –
Jose Alvarado,
Yeah.
Yep.
Josempic's coming back, it looks like.
All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, so A.J. Brown, it was an insightful article from Brooks Cubana of The Athletic, very well written, very detailed, a lot of quotes from A.J. Brown, quotes from some of the members of the Philadelphia Eagles, his teammates. But, John, there's a couple of things that stood out to you. It was a long article.
It's a really well-done
It was
piece.
my nighttime reading last night. Shout out to Connor Thomas, who had the account, sending it over to me, and I was able to read it last night. But you took note of a couple of key moments in the piece.
Well, this is one where Brooks is doing a great job writing that piece. I mean, I was enthralled by the entire thing. So it's well worth reading. Go read it. But here's where it bothers me, these pieces. And they are well done, but they are, in and of themselves, fluff pieces because they're going unchecked.
Yeah.
All you're getting is just, I'm going to say something. It's not going to be challenged. I'm just getting to say something as the player. Quote, unquote, here's a couple that really hit me. Obviously, I want to win, and that's the main goal. That's a direct quote.
Yeah.
Really? Is it obviously I want to win, and that's the main goal? Really? I've never seen a player right now with a team that's defending Super Bowl champs, second seed in the NFC, and he appears absolutely miserable about the situation.
Yeah. Look,
so
the main goal is to win, but he might want to win a certain way.
Well, he says, I want to do things my way. I want to do things my way as well. So it's a little toll here, and there's sometimes I think that's where the misunderstanding comes from everyone out there. But to be honest, I could care really less. There's another lie. That's a lie.
Yeah, because
All he could care about, he can't get his head out of his phone.
Right.
He cares absolutely what everybody's saying. I could care less where everybody else is saying out there. No, you care too much. Way too much. He said, me playing this way, me having that drive, me having that mindset, it's going to keep me here. Look, everybody loves the mindset of A.J. Brown. He's one of the hardest workers.
Yeah.
He's a great teammate. He is well-loved. You could just see it. I saw it this past Sunday. He's very well-loved around everybody who runs into him. He's a wonderful person, and he's well-loved, and he's good at positive energy person. But I want to win. That's my main goal? No, because the team's winning and you're not happy and you're publicly not happy about it and you're complaining about it. And he says, but I want to do things my way. That's different because, as I say to you, that team mentality doesn't work. If you came in every day, we work as a collaborative team.
damn right.
Whether it's Haley and Shukri or, Rodman or whoever it is behind the scenes, whether it's us and Scott, our boss, we work as a collective team. If you came in with your own agenda, or I came in with my own agenda, or Connor was going to do things where he was like, well, they want to do things this way, but I'm going to insert this into here.
Always do, baby.
That's not the way it works. A team effort requires a team mentality, and the team mentality about wanting to do things your own way, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's not it. And then the other one, Browns understands football structure. But he said in training camp, also, I have to remember, I have to put the team first. Are you doing that? Is his behavior putting the team first?
So this is where it gets interesting, right? Because, again, I think we all agree that the passing offense needs to be better and more consistent.
We all
right?
are. We're all team AJ on that.
We
right?
all agree.
Yeah,
and
we're all team
when,
AJ.
When he voiced his frustrations after week 2 and week 3, despite them being wins, the win against the Chiefs, the win against the Rams, we were all saying the same thing. Yeah, we agree with A.J. Brown. It becomes problematic when it's the social media stuff and the cryptic tweets and him
after winning
and him apologizing for it. Remember, after the Buccaneers game, he puts out the cryptic tweet. We don't hear from A.J. Brown until Wednesday. He apologized for the tweet, says it wasn't directed at anybody or any specific thing,
So who was it directed
which I call bull, but
Exactly.
whatever. He apologizes for it. And then 1 week later, he's still doing it. And it's like, well, hold on a second, man. Like, I know I'm trying to take this vow personally of ignoring what he's putting out there on social media, but sometimes it gets too hard to ignore it. So I think we all agree the majority of the messaging from A.J. Brown, but then sometimes it does feel like maybe there is a selfish feeling of, I want to be the reason why we're winning instead of I'm happy that we're just winning.
And if you read the piece also, too, then, of course, another thing that athletes hate, having to answer questions about other athletes and what they're saying when they're not explaining it to you. And AJ is not talking to the media, so he's not explaining what he's cryptically tweeting. They have to go to Jalen Hurts about it.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts in the piece, well, I'm not here to interpret what another man's saying.
Yeah.
In other words, go to AJ. And AJ should be the one talking to you. But AJ's choosing not to talk to you. So he's the one. He's causing the problem. And then he won't talk about it, so everybody else is asked to talk about it. And then Devontae Smith, dude, I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Like keep it away from me. They don't want to deal with this. His
Right.
coworkers don't want to be having to answer questions about it. So he's a spectacular person.
Yes.
And he's a great talent. But his comments, well, it's team first. The most important thing is winning. He doesn't walk the walk. He talks the talk, but he's not walking the walk.
Yeah.
In some ways he does, but he doesn't consistently enough to put that message out there when we see what he's doing the other half of the time. That's the thing. If you're going to be the keep the main thing guy, you kind of got to be that guy all the time. And maybe Jalen Hurts has set an unfairly high bar in this city for what that is, because he is nutso winning is all that matters cyborg.
He is.
But with AJ, he's fighting clearly a very internal battle of, I want to be the reason we're winning, but I got to remember I'm in a good situation. Right now, he's losing it.
Now, there's an interesting piece, though, here, too. Part of the piece, though, Connor, is he's not fighting an internal battle because he's fighting it publicly.
Right.
The internal battle you
I
fight
gotcha.
is the one you're not sharing with everybody. The internal battle means that's what drives him day to day, but he doesn't do anything to distract from his team where he says, I want to win. That's the main goal. Your actions say otherwise. I have to put the team first. Those are his quotes. That's not doing it.
Yeah.
That's not doing it. So he's not an internal battle. It's a battle that he's bringing public for whatever reason, and his teammates don't deserve it.
Yeah,
They don't deserve to have to deal with this.
Bottom line is there's timing in everything, right? And it's not crazy that this article came out after a lot of the drama that's been going down and during the bye week, right? And after a game in which he did not play and the offense looked really good. Now,
and it comes out when he's not talking to the media either.
Right. I do not believe the offense looked better on this past Sunday just because A.J. Brown was on the field. I do not have that opinion at all. But, again, there's timing, drama, didn't play, offense looked really good. A lot of negative talk about A.J. Brown. Here's a very positive story about the man. But I can look past sometimes the parts of the story where it's about A.J. Brown, his upbringing, because when we talk about what's going on here and now with the football team, it's become a distraction. So coming up next, what do you do when someone may not be on the same page, when you need him to get where you want to be? Connor, you just sort of talked about what we're going to get into next. Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, they're such cyborgs about wanting to win. You need A.J. Brown in order to win. So how do you balance this? We'll discuss that next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
John Marks and Ray Dunn.
this morning, seeing the Blue Jays take a 3-2 series lead. For the narrative that the Phillies were the second best team and they just ran into a good club. A lot of you out there bought into it. Do you still believe in that narrative, or has your mind changed? And for those of you who are like me and John from the very beginning, that's nonsense. Get the hell out of here. Are you angry today, or are you just sort of beaten down so much that you don't even care? Also, our Eagles discussion, some reaction to the A.J. Brown article from Brooks Cubana of The Athletic that comes out. I have a question for you guys that I would like to open up for the audience as well at 610-632-0975. What do you do? Now, look, we're not talking about trading A.J. Brown before the November 4th trade deadline. Once again, need to make it clear because
none of us want that.
People are going to be like, oh, my God.
We don't want him traded at all, by the way.
No.
I hope this could all work out.
I want them to figure their crap out and be friends. And by them, I mean the two players that it's always about, Jalen and A.J.
Whoa.
Work your crap out.
There's one player who's having a problem, though.
Yeah, I know. It seems like a one-way street. Figure your stuff out, because here's the deal. They need A.J. Brown to win. All right? Like this year. Like they need A.J. Brown at his best.
Are you telling me this team can't win a Super Bowl without him?
In 2025? Absolutely, I'm saying that.
Really?
They will not win a Super Bowl without A.J. Brown.
I can't say that definitively. I don't want to think about them trying to win one without him.
Devontae Smith and Jahan Dotson is a major fall-off.
I would just tell you that after what you saw in 2017, you cannot say something so definitively like that, because this team is far deeper and far more talented than that team was. And they were missing a ton of key players, including the quarterback, including the middle linebacker.
All right, fine. I'll say it is extremely unlikely for the Eagles to win a Super Bowl if A.J. Brown is not on the field.
You know what it is? It's the Zach Wheeler injury. It's like, sure, can they still do it? Absolutely. You can't say 100% no.
Yeah, could the Phillies have beaten the Dodgers in that series?
Yeah, they could have.
Absolutely. They absolutely.
That's why they just ran into a good club.
I'm going to tell you, they should have. The way that what they did to themselves, they should have won that series.
But what do you do? Because here's the deal. Connor, you were saying in the last segment, we were going to get into it here, so good timing. You have guys on this team, and it starts up top with Nick Sirianni. Well, no, it starts even higher. It starts with Jeffrey Lurie, where Jeffrey Lurie at the owners' meetings just last week is talking about how we're going to do whatever's best for the team, right? That's what we care about. Howie Roseman is always trying to do what is best for the team. Nick Sirianni always tries to tell his players and talk through the media to just do what's best for the team. Jalen Hurts will throw the ball 4 times in a game if it means that's the game plan, the best game plan in order to win. And I feel like a lot of guys on the Eagles buy into that. Even Saquon Barkley, up until last week, had not been playing well, and he was asked about it, and he said, I don't care. Look, like, I want to play better, obviously.
But they want to win.
But all I care about is winning, and we're 5-2. And it helped that he had his great week, and now they're 6-2. It feels like A.J. Brown's the only guy that doesn't have that same mindset right now.
No, and he's very public about it. He's very, very public by his posting his hieroglyphics for everybody else to figure out, and then not talking to the media. That's another thing.
Right.
So you create all the drama.
He was injured, so
and
he
then you
doesn't
go,
have to.
He doesn't have to. He could, though. You're allowed to. He can talk as long as he isn't talking about the injury. He can talk whatever he wants. It doesn't.
I just how do you balance this? Because I stand by. Like, they need him, and I'm not even just saying on the field. Like,
we want him back.
They need him like locked in, is what I'm saying. Not because he's not getting traded. All right, he's not getting traded in 4 days. Like, they need him locked in.
You don't balance it, right? This, to me, reads like much less of a problem in-house than it is from the outside perspective. Because AJ, when playing, there have been some weird things like effort questions and giving up on that one route and stuff that we've seen, but he's still an effective player when he's on the field. He's not like fighting people or doing push-ups in his driveway or sit-ups in his driveway or anything. Like, he's not away from the team by choice. He's injured right now.
Yeah.
You say, AJ, we're going to keep playing football, and you can feel how you'd like to, but as long as you go out there and run the plays and play the football games, that's all we need from you.
Well, as long as he's playing it effectively. There's been film breakdowns of him not finishing plays.
Half-assing it.
Blocking.
Which is unlike him because he's one of the best. He is one of the most selfless blockers in the game at the wide receiver position.
But maybe he's exhausted of being a selfless blocker and wants to be
using me without using me.
Yeah. So I see a couple of responses on our YouTube chat that I want to read to you, and this could open up another door of conversation. So Our man MBD, first and foremost.
What's that, MBD?
Talking about A.J. Brown and how everything in the story is me,
Yes.
my way,
Yes.
not much team. Fuzzy 007 chimes in. The greater good of the team is the top of the pyramid. Your personal achievements and stats below that. The same people bashing Embiid for winning an MVP should be giving A.J. the same treatment, which, hey, you're not wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
Like, and you keep it 100, but like there are a lot of people that would bash Embiid and then be like, no, but AJ, we love him.
Not at all. No. This is it. AJ Brown tells you, well, winning's the most important thing. Your actions don't say that.
Right.
You're miserable.
Now,
and I got to put the team first. No, you're not doing that.
Now this one might be the
Not
most
right
damning
now.
one, and I will open this up to 610-632-0975. We recently had this conversation about Bryce Harper. Dan Miller checks in. I'm A.J. Browned out. Not interested in hearing from him anymore this season.
He just want, but that I bet you for Dan,
I just go out there and play.
Dan just wants to see him go out and play and be a great performer. You know who's tired? You know who doesn't do this stuff? You think Devontae Smith had maybe wanted more balls thrown his way?
Absolutely.
Wanted more stats? Devontae Smith, all about the team. And Devontae Smith, get that away from me. I don't want to talk about what A.J. Brown's tweeting.
When you
now,
hear
Devontae mentioned he was frustrated to the media, so he did it, but he did it with his own words, and he didn't take it anywhere
and
else.
there's a difference
And that's
there.
you can be frustrated. Saquon was frustrated.
Monday
You can be that.
Monday after the Tampa game, how much did we talk about the counterproductive posts by A.J. Brown? It's counterproductive. If you just own it. We celebrated what everybody else said. The cryptic stuff is not good. It's not productive. Will it kill the team? No.
No, but it's
does
not
it help?
productive.
Absolutely not. All right, coming up next, we want to help. We're going to help Nick Sirianni.
Oh, wow.
He looks at the bye week and calls it self-scouting week, so we'll try our best to help. And if you think about it, some of our wants over the years have actually been the needs of the Eagles. We were just a little ahead, so maybe we can help out the Eagles here. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles at a corner. I'm Connor Thomas, and it was an off night in Philadelphia sports game-wise, but the Eagles, they didn't take the day off. They've got the week off for the bye, but they made a move yesterday, trading John Mechie III and a 2027 sixth-round pick to the New York Jets for Michael Carter II and a 2027 seventh-round pick, adding at the cornerback position. So Jeff McLean talked earlier in the week about potential moves ahead of the upcoming NFL trade deadline, and it was something he mentioned.
Say obvious needs, but there are areas that you can address. The edge rusher position, cornerback, yeah. I guess everyone's talking about possibly the wide receiver, but that's not going to happen. So maybe one's possible. It could happen soon, too.
And Jeff was right. It did happen soon, just yesterday. But some other things mentioned, probably not wide receiver, but edge rusher. We'll be watching with the NFL trade deadline set for next Tuesday, November 4th, on what the Eagles could do. Flyers are back on the ice tonight at home against the Predators. Puck drops at 7 p.m. You can hear that game here on the Fanatic. Sixers off tonight. They play the Celtics at home tomorrow night. Union take on Chicago Fire in Game 2 of their playoff series in Chicago on Saturday. The Blue Jays beat the Dodgers 6-1 in Game 5 of the World Series last night. Toronto takes a 3-2 lead. And we'll talk to Jake Asman of ESPN New York at 8:55 for an update on Michael Carter, the newest Eagle. This update's brought to you by Fox 1. They're your home to stream live sports from NFL on Fox, the big noon Saturdays, NASCAR, and more. This week, don't miss the Nittany Lions take on Ohio State. Download the Fox 1 app to stream Fox 1. Live sports streaming now. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 The Fanatic.
on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Check out the deal of the week, Sahara Sam's Water Park. Buy one ticket for Sahara Sam's Water Park in West Berlin, New Jersey. Get one free, rain or shine. So today, Sahara Sam's Indoor Water Park delivers nonstop tropical thrills all year round. Get this deal now through Sunday while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals. Again, drive safely, everybody. It is a wicked day out there. It just looks
Be
absolutely
careful
gross.
on the roads. It's a terrible drive.
Oh, it's still like pitch black outside. Like there's like absolutely no sunlight right now. It's just dark out there. So drive safely. All right, before we get back to the Eagles, we mentioned it earlier in the show, but he's such an icon and such a legend here in Philadelphia and here in One Ballot Plaza, Johnny. Our hearts go out to everybody at MMR with the passing of Pierre Robert.
And everybody in our listening
yesterday.
audience is probably
Absolutely.
in it, like at least whether it was your parents,
Yeah.
whether it's you, or whether it's somebody, everybody knows Pierre Robert.
Yeah, I just during the commercial break ran into a member of the Preston and Steve show. Emotional day this morning. So our family down the hall, and you're right, our family, the listening audience of Philadelphia. Like you said, at some point in 40 years, you probably stumbled upon listening to Pierre Robert at one point, and it was just horrible news finding that out yesterday. So our hearts go out to him and the family at MMR. All right, so self-scouting week for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what Nick Sirianni always terms it. He tries to figure out how to make the team better. Last year, the greatest bye in the history of the NFL. The Week 5 bye for the Philadelphia Eagles that nobody wanted.
No, nobody did.
There, not a single soul said, wow, Week 5? That's the bye you want.
I complained so much when I saw the bye week because you know how much I obsess on the schedule.
I know you do.
And when
yeah.
it came out, I was like, that sucks.
Yeah.
And it
did
ended up
suck.
being something that helped to save the season.
Absolutely. They got healthy, and, of course, they changed their direction of how they wanted to run the offense. So now you have another chance to self-scout. And it's actually crazy timing because it's leading up to the bye week, so good for Howie Roseman and the coaching staff to sort of figure out, all right, who can we get to improve this roster? They already made one move yesterday, trading John Mechie and a 7th-round pick. In return, they get Michael Carter II, at one point one of the top nickel corners in the NFL.
He was paid like it.
Yes, he was. But his play has gone downhill since. There's a lot of talk about potentially moving Cooper DeJean to the outside. I don't buy it.
I don't either.
I really don't, because coaches don't want to mess with two positions to try to fix one.
And I think it's been very, very clear from Vic Fangio what he sees out of Cooper.
Oh, yeah,
DeJean,
he's been very honest.
That he's elite.
Yes.
He's elite as a slot corner. So that's it.
Yeah, what if he goes to the outside corner and he's better than a Dory Jackson and Keely Ringo, right?
But he's not.
But not elite.
And he's not making the impact
Whether
that he
it's
made.
Michael Carter II or Mac McWilliams or whoever they put in the slot, they get gashed. Like, that's not going to be good either. So we'll see.
Where do you think people are going to target? They're going to target exactly where Cooper DeJean is not.
Right, exactly, and over the middle field. And, oh, by the way, other than Cooper DeJean, open field tackling has been a bit of an issue for the Eagles so far this season. So let's try to help self-scout with the Philadelphia Eagles, John. I have a question for you guys. Last year, it was the reliance on the run game. This year, the offense has not necessarily gotten going because of the lack of a run game until you saw last week the way Saquon and Tank Bigsby ran against the New York Giants. That also opened the door up for Jalen Hurts to be able to throw all over the field. Devontae Smith had a nice day. Dallas Goedert had a nice day. Obviously, Jahan Dotson just one catch, but it was the deep shot downfield. The ground game was able to open things up for the passing game. But I don't know if the ground game just got fixed, right? Because
You don't think it's fixed, right?
no, not after one game. I'm not going to just sit here and tell you against the Giants, who are one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL. But let's face it, the DNA of this football team is still the reliance on the run game. So much so that A.J. Brown's upset about it. Does that concern you, or are you still confident that the ground game will get better, which will then turn things around for the passing attack?
I'm completely confident the ground game's going to get better because I do believe we're going to see a healthier Cam Jurgens when he comes back.
Yeah, I think that's key.
Even though I'm not sure Cam Jurgens is back for Green Bay. And I think that Landon Dickerson is going to really benefit from a couple weeks off. So, yes, I do believe that part of their game is going to get better. How much better? Who knows? Who knows? But it's going to get better than we've seen. We will later on in the season go, where has this running game been?
Yeah.
I'm confident.
I think it's going
about
to
you?
be.
You too?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Look, it was one of my concerns coming into the season, just the toll that
was.
Saquon Barkley had last year. and I'm not going to just
Do you
get
think
all
that's
excited.
part of it?
I think it
I
has
don't.
to be something. I'm not saying it's 85% of it. It's offensive line first. Defense is stacking the box to try to stop the run. The Eagles' passing offense, and this goes to Kevin Patullo, not being great up until last week, which then made it easier for defenses to say, all right, we're just going to keep doing this because they're not throwing the ball well against us, even though the Eagles are 6-2. There are a lot of reasons why the ground game's not working, but I would imagine over 400 touches last year is going to play some bit of a role.
I don't believe that that you're seeing him like I haven't seen him lose a boost. Like he hasn't lost to me when he sees an opening. Like it's not you're not
Sure,
seeing,
and there have not been many
Right,
openings.
you see the burst.
Yeah.
If I was seeing a lack of a burst out of him when he gets opportunities, or if I was seeing him not hit holes that
Right.
last year, you would have been like, "Wow, Saquon, there's a hole and you didn't hit it." I'm not seeing that. So
Yeah.
I don't believe that it's as much of what went on last year. I get what you're saying
Yeah.
though. It's part of it where you go, why are we struggling? Here's part of it.
I just think the passing offense needs to look so much better to help the running attack. And I've been saying that for 8 games now, right? Up until the Giants game. And I even put it out after the Vikings game. Maybe they run better against the Giants because they showed that they can throw the ball well against Minnesota. Do I believe that's the total factor as to why they ran the ball so well? No, I think the Giants being the Giants is part of the reason. And Brett Toth having a good day and running the ball, passing the ball under center, which then changes how defenses have to defend you.
You see how one game against the Giants has a lot of people thinking, and there are a lot of people who believe, okay, well now they fixed stuff. I'll believe it when I see Green Bay, Detroit in a 7-day period, 2 games. I'll believe it then. In a 6-day period, I'll believe it then. That's when I'll know if they've actually fixed stuff or if this team is. And I'm not talking they have to win both.
Yeah.
They don't have to, you're playing 2 really good teams. They don't have to win both, but I expect to see quality play in both of those games.
Now on defense, is this could this be Vic Fangio's greatest work? Now last year, think about it, went from 30 to 1 defensively.
How you going to beat that?
Yeah, you're not going to beat that.
How you going to beat that?
Well, here's why. The players that you lost, I'm not saying you beat that. I'm saying, are you almost a little bit more impressed that you're worried about the pass rush, you're worried about cornerback 2, you're worried about a new safety, you're worried about Nakobe Dean being hurt for the first 7 weeks of the season, and yet they've been pretty good on defense.
Nah, that's revisionist, bro. We had no idea who Zach Bond was, and he became a Defensive Player of the Year nominee. You brought 2 rookies in, and they were both Defensive Rookie of the Year nominees. You created pressure against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl to the point where he couldn't breathe without blitzing. He will never beat last year, and that's okay.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever be able to beat last year.
No, I'm not saying beat. I'm just saying, is it almost more impressive this year when there were a lot of concerns with the defense? They lost a lot of players. They literally don't have a second corner that you feel confident.
I don't think he can. It would know. I don't think there's any way this is his best work because last year was. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous what they managed to accomplish.
Now,
but I get what I get what you're thinking on it, but I don't think it's.
We just think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong on it, but I don't think it's his best work.
What else is new? Now the thing is,
we're such a supportive group
yes,
for
we
each
are.
other.
During the second half, how much more creative does he have to be? Now this kind of goes back to the Cooper DeJean thing. I don't want to kick him outside.
I don't want to either.
I don't. Is Nakobe Dean playing well enough where he has to stay on the field and Jahad Campbell more of that edge rusher threat kind of hybrid player?
Yes.
Like I feel like this is why I kind of bring up the point that I'm making. I feel like he has to be even more creative with this defense this year.
Well, we saw it with Jahad Campbell didn't get as many snaps on Sunday.
Yeah.
Plus, don't forget about the BG thing, Nolan Smith coming back, that edge rusher room. They need the help, but it's going to get more crowded, so how do you balance that? It's going to be tricky. It's a fair point.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tricky, and that's why I wonder, could he put together a master class of art when it comes to defense next year? What do we got on the text line, Connor? It's 610-632-0975. Phillies on the table as well because I woke up damn pissed off.
That's funny about that.
All right, so we have a check-in from Mo from Horsham who says, I'm sick and tired of the, quote, he's not ready in AAA and we don't have a place for him, unquote. Find a damn place and don't sign the dudes who are closer to getting their AARP card.
Yeah, I mean, look.
No, they're dialing down. They are dialing it up. They're dialing it up a winner of old.
Like, think about it for a second. The Toronto Blue Jays Game 1 and Game 5 starter in the World Series got called up in mid-September.
And because they're not
He
afraid.
struck out 12 last night against the Dodgers, which includes the same lineup that you faced: Ohtani, Freeman, Betts, Hernandez, all those players. You called up a local kid, 22 years old. And then the 6 outs from the bullpen were former Phillies.
You're making it worse.
I was not happy this
No,
morning.
you're making
And I'm
it worse.
I'm still not.
Yeah, it's not good.
You know, we can't talk Phillies for 4 hours, but I could because I'm that angry. All right, coming up next. Speaking of the Eagles' defense, do we have an idea of how much money Jalen Carter is going to get? Because there was a major contract signed yesterday in the NFL, and it's one of the top teams in the NFC. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Whether you're at the job site.
Here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. The number 40, a big key to this segment that we're about to have. But, Connor, I want to check our text line some more before we tell you about the major contract sign that took place in the NFC yesterday. That could be a sign of what is to come for Jalen Carter and the Philadelphia Eagles. But what we've talked about so far this morning, I woke up pissed off this morning because of the Toronto Blue Jays being up 3-2 and all the positive fluff pieces that you have gotten from members of the Philadelphia media that are probably coming from certain people within the Phillies organization about how they were just a couple base hits away and they were the second best team. And Otto Kemp's going to be a great third baseman for them if they trade Alec Boehm. But if Alec Boehm doesn't get traded, he's still a championship contender. I read that in the Ruben Amaro Jr. piece as well, that he's the guy that could be traded, but if he's not, he's still a championship guy, even though he admitted after game one that the moment is too much for them. I love that. And then also the A.J. Brown stuff. Great story from The Athletic. But again, very one-sided, very positive A.J. Brown. But when it comes to the football, the nitty-gritty of football, we all know he's a tremendous player, and I believe they can only win with him as a part of the team. But how much is it team first versus A.J. Brown first? And how do you balance that when you know the makeup of this Eagles team is team first? Right? Like, I'm not saying anything crazy, right? You hear how Hurts talks. You hear how Sirianni talks. You hear how Jeffrey Lurie spoke just last week. It's all about team first. And I don't think they just say that to say it. Like, I think that's something that they truly buy into.
I think they do. I think they buy into it. And they look, this team walks the walk.
Yeah.
They talk it, they walk it.
Absolutely do.
They
So
talk.
what do we got?
Almost everybody.
We got people checking in on everything. Phil's, Cooper DeJean potentially moving, A.J. Brown situation. We'll go to A.J. here because this texter talks about the mentality and says, A.J. is a look-at-me diva, and those types of personalities have always been bad for the culture of a team, no matter how well they play on the field on Sunday. That's Dave from Mount Laurel.
Now, but here's the thing. On Sunday, I still believe that A.J. Brown between the white lines is playing. Like, I understand there's been some moments this year that have been pointed out by people who cover, who break down film, like the Orlovskis of the world, that maybe he takes a playoff or two here and there. But A.J. Brown, between the white lines on Sunday, is still playing. It's just the aftermath. And at what point does the aftermath bubble and boil into something problematic?
And he can tell Brooks anything he wants to. His actions aren't what he says in an article.
Yeah.
He's not living. He's not making winning the most important thing. And he's not making that I know I have to do what's best for the team. He's not following what he's saying, and then he's not talking to the media, and then it's just
and it kind of goes against what a lot of the people with the Eagles will say.
Let me ask you, do you believe he's trying to?
What do you mean?
Like, do you believe he's trying to make winning the main thing and just because part of the article is like, this is how I've gotten here, is this type of mentality?
Well, if he's trying to make it the main thing, he's doing an incredibly poor job of it then.
Like, because
if you're bitching and complaining when your team is the 2 seed in the NFC, which you won the Super Bowl as the 2 seed last year, then you're doing a really poor job of trying. What's Yoda say? I don't watch that.
Do or do not, there is no try.
There is no try. I don't want to hear
Big Star Wars guy.
Again, I'll use the grown men line. Grown men. You understand what trying is. Trying is not doing one thing and saying, well, I really want to be supportive of the team, and I really want to be a good teammate. That's not what you're doing.
I'm not saying you guys are wrong, but we've all been that person or had those people in our lives where they're trying to be better at something, and it's tough.
Yeah, but here's the
then
deal.
try harder.
But here's the deal.
You got to try harder. Stop doing it.
If the Eagles were 2-6, we'd be like, yeah, AJ.
Yeah.
But they're 6-2, and
he's miserable. Like, try.
Right,
you know what you got to do? Stop telling me you're trying.
I just think that there are some people out there that see star wide receiver upset, and it's like A.J. Brown is purposefully trying to make waves to get himself the football more.
There are people who absolutely believe that within football circles.
yeah.
And
They believe that he might be traded this offseason.
And they believe that he may be trying to get traded.
I'm bringing up the question of intent, which is tough to determine from outside of A.J. Brown's brain, but I think it's an important part of this conversation.
Yeah, but the intent might not be logical.
And his intent isn't. It's not. He's not doing what he says he's about. I'm about winning's the most important thing. No, it's not.
I just want everybody to be happy and win. What else we got on the text line?
All right, we also have a check-in on this Cooper DeJean outside corner situation because Media Joe says what separates Coop from most of his position is physicality and his ball skills. He does not have the speed to hang with most number twos on the outside, and I sure hope we don't make that move. I think if we do, it weakens our defense.
Do we know that for sure?
Sneaky fast.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do we know that for sure?
We don't. No, we do not know that for
But
sure.
all I'm
because
saying is
deceptively
in
quick.
the slot, he's so good, I don't want to mess with that.
that's what I say.
But I don't know about his speed on the outside.
We don't know that.
I'm not breaking that down.
Yeah.
All right, I told you 40 is a key number for this segment. Aiden Hutchinson, who is a tremendous, tremendous pass rusher for the Detroit Lions. It was a shame the injury that he sustained last year, which is why he's going to most likely win Comeback Player of the Year this year because of how well he's been playing with that Lions defense. He signed a 4-year contract extension, $180 million.
Oh, my gosh.
141 of which is guaranteed. His year-by-year base salary, the first year of the contract, $29.5 million. The second year, $29.5 million. The third year, $49.5 million.
Straight cash, homie.
And then 2030, the final year, is $42 million. That's a lot of money, but be prepared to see a lot of money go in the way of Jalen Carter.
Yeah, Jalen Carter's going to get paid big time. And are you comfortable with the amount of money?
Yes. With Jalen Carter, you have to. Now, look, the cap's going up and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you saying you have to. It's the this offseason they don't have to.
Sure.
Because Aiden Hutchinson didn't get paid this offseason.
But they better. They better do it this offseason.
Part of it, I imagine, is the injury to Aiden Hutchinson, why that happened.
And they made him sing for his supper.
Yeah.
And he was upset about it, but he was a good teammate and did what was best for the team, played his ass off, and then ended up getting his extension. Do you think that the same strategy would be taken with Jalen Carter?
Who's Jalen Carter's agent? The answer is no. Drew Rosenhaus.
Well, no, he's not going to sit out.
No,
He's not sitting out. So
I don't think they're waiting. I think they try to get this con. And by the way, Howie doesn't wait.
No, you got to get this done.
Howie does it early because you want to set the market. So the average, the per year salary for some of the top paid defensive tackles right now. Because let's face it, that there is a difference there between edge rusher and defensive tackle. Chris Jones, number one on Kansas City, $31 million, almost $32
Okay,
million.
$31 million.
Milton Williams, though, is number 2.
Wow.
At 26. Jalen Carter will make more money than Milton Williams. Jalen Carter got Milton Williams paid.
Correct. By the
So
way, Milton Williams is doing a good job.
No, he has been. No, he absolutely has been. I give him. He's doing better than I even thought he would. But I would imagine that Jalen Carter's around Chris Jones' number, $30 million.
I would imagine he is too.
And all it takes is one dumb team where all they have is a good interior defensive lineman to pay them out the ass.
Well, remember they don't have the option.
What?
They don't have the remember he has no option to go anywhere.
No, I'm just saying another dumb team with nothing else to play for pays their interior defensive lineman.
It sets the market.
And it sets the market, and you're out a bunch of money.
Yep. Oh, it's we've seen Dallas get screwed by that. How many times?
Absolutely. All right, coming up next, speaking of Hutchinson and the Detroit Lions, we're going to do a look ahead to what the road is for the Eagles, Lions, Packers, and Bucks. And the reason why I want to do this is because John said something this week that makes me want to do this exercise. I'll tell you what that was next. You guys don't even know about it. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Birds add to the defensive backfield. I'm Connor Thomas, and it was an off night in Philadelphia sports. The Eagles are on an off week with their bye week, but they were busy yesterday. They traded John Mechie III and a 2027 6th-round pick to the Jets for corner Michael Carter II and a 2027 7th-round pick. So we heard from Andrew DiCecco yesterday on Unfiltered what could happen with the defensive backfield alignment now that Michael Carter's in-house.
If you go back to what Vic Fangio had to say on Tuesday, he pretty much poured cold water on the notion of Cooper playing outside. But when asked about is it easier to find a slot corner than it is a nickel, he said, no, you may be correct, but we haven't solved that here yet.
We're going to talk to Jake Asman of ESPN New York for the latest on Michael Carter. Does a great job covering the Jets. With the NFL trade deadline set for this next Tuesday, November 4th, we'll keep an eye on other moves the Eagles can make. Flyers back on the ice tonight playing the Predators at home. Puck drop at 7 p.m. You can hear that game here on the Fanatic. Sixers off tonight. They play the Celtics tomorrow night. And the Union take on the Chicago Fire in Game 2 of their playoff series on Saturday. Blue Jays beat the Dodgers 6-1 in Game 5 of the World Series last night. It's now a 3-2 lead in favor of Toronto. Could they really knock off the Dodgers? This update is brought to you by Temple Temple football. November football is back at Lincoln Financial Field. Your Temple Owls are ready. Catch all the action as the Owls host the East Carolina Pirates on Saturday, November. Tickets at owlstix.com. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 90.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic, WPN, WPN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. All right, we just talked about the Aiden Hutchinson extension in the previous segment, which makes my brain start to think about the Detroit Lions and something that you said earlier this week, John Kincade, that I took note of. And we're in the bye week, so we have some time to sort of have some fun with some other segments and just look down the road a little bit, because that's the point of the bye week for us is what's next. And what's next is a Monday night game against the Green Bay Packers, and then the following weekend, the Detroit Lions, which will be another.
That's a huge game.
Yeah, huge test for the Philadelphia Eagles. And you said at one point that you hope that they at least go 1-1.
Yeah, as long as they get the split,
right,
they're in great shape.
So you said earlier this week, for the Eagles to get back to the Super Bowl, you believe they need to be one of the top 2 seeds in the NFC.
Yeah.
So let's sort of look at the outlook here. Now, you've mentioned a couple of times today in our conversation about A.J. Brown, you're the defending Super Bowl champions. You're 6-2, which is good for the 2 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, you're sitting there in the 2 seed right now.
And you're complaining. Let's look at it. So down the road for the Philadelphia Eagles, we know that they come out, and it's a pretty tough start out of the bye week with the Packers and the Lions. But then it lightens up a bit, we hope. The Cowboys, who knows who they will be that day? That offense we know can put up.
That offense is fantastic.
A ton of points.
Yeah. Could you not see them losing to the Cowboys?
Yeah, I could see it.
I could absolutely see them lose.
By the way, especially if they acquire somebody on defense for them, because they might be buyers at the deadline. Is Jerry Jones a guy that won't try to be aggressive?
No.
Then you have the Bears. Who knows what Caleb Williams is doing at the time?
I feel extremely.
I feel good too, but who knows? Then you have the Chargers, who have obviously not been playing as well as they did to start the season.
But that's not an easy game on a Monday night on the road.
And then Raiders, Commanders, Bills, Commanders. So, again, it might not mean anything, as we have been saying, as you have been saying, for the NFC East, but maybe it means something for top seeding in the NFC.
And it does. I mean, it's so important, these next 2 games, but it's going to tell us everything we need to know about this Eagles team. If they go out there and win both of those games, if they somehow go out and beat Detroit and they beat the Packers the previous Monday night, I mean, the Eagles, again, go to Super Bowl favorites.
Right.
Like, at that point, everyone's going, okay, the Eagles got it all figured out.
Now, I think the Lions are a machine. It's the team that I am still most worried about in the NFC. Here's what they have the rest of the way. So the Eagles have their bye week this week. The Lions will be playing the Vikings. And, see how scary the Vikings are. But
JJ's back, so they're feeling excited about that.
Then they have the Commanders, who Jaden Daniels could be back for that game.
He should be, if you're reading between the lines, he should
Just
be.
a 1 week little break for Daniels. Then it's the Eagles game. Then it's the Giants. All right, so they'll probably spank the Giants. But they have the final 6 weeks. Packers. Cowboys. Rams. Steelers. Vikings, and Bears.
That's not easy.
It's not easy. Especially, look, the Packers game, one team's going to win, one team's going to lose.
Yeah.
Unless it's a tie. But one team's going to win, one team's going to lose.
Packers already have their tie.
And they do already have their tie this year. So that helps the Eagles in some way.
Sure it does, yeah.
You're just going to want to hope that if the Eagles do split, the team that beats the Eagles is the team that loses in that matchup. That's what you're going to end up rooting for. But the Rams could be a chance for the Lions to get handed a loss.
You need the Packer game big time, just because then you would fall a game and a half behind the Packers in the NFC in losses.
Right.
And you would also then have the problem with the tiebreaker, which you hold over the Rams and you hold over the Bucks.
Right.
But you want the team ahead of you is the Packers.
Right.
That's a big game to try to get.
And what they have moving forward, they have the Panthers this weekend, but then it's the Eagles. So hopefully the Eagles can get the win in that night. Giants, Vikings, back-to-back weeks. At least it's divisional for that Minnesota game.
Yeah, I'm not really worried for them.
Lions, Bears, Broncos, Bears, your future AFC North winners, the Ravens, and then they close out the season with the Minnesota Vikings. So they have a pretty tough road in the final second half of the season as well.
Yeah, the one thing is I didn't expect Buffalo to be losing those games they lost, so I think that Buffalo game for the Eagles is going to matter at the end.
Might mean something more,
I didn't expect it to mean, like, pretty much anything. Now they're trying to play. They're playing catch up to the Patriots. I never saw that coming. I was totally off base on the Patriots.
Now, if the Eagles were to finish ahead of the Bucs, first and foremost, they already have the tiebreaker from beating the Buccaneers in Tampa. The next 3 weeks will be imperative for the Eagles for Tampa to get some losses handed to them.
Yeah, and what do you think of that?
So they
Doesn't look good.
The Bucs are on a bye this week, but they play the Patriots, who have been playing very well this year.
They play them at home or on the road?
At home.
Okay.
Then they go to Buffalo.
Okay.
And then they go to L.A. So that's 3 straight.
L.A. Rams or
the
L.A.
Rams, yes, Rams.
They go to the Rams. Okay, that's
3
tough.
straight playoff teams that the Buccaneers will be playing coming out of the bye week. So you hope that the Bucs get handed at least 2 losses, because here's the deal. After that,
yeah, they're home free.
Cardinals, which is a scrappy team, but Cardinals at home, Saints at home, Falcons at home, in Carolina, and then they don't leave the state. They play the Dolphins in Miami.
They're home free.
So
I mean, if it gets to December, pretty much they're home free.
You need Tampa to get handed at least 2 losses in the 3 weeks after the bye against the Patriots, Bills, and Rams.
That's why I wanted that Tampa game. That's why I wanted Tampa to take that loss.
I know,
because their schedule sets it up nicely, and you don't want to go back to Tampa. You don't want, even though we would love to.
No,
we would love to.
Yeah,
we
would
love
sports
to.
trips.
But then no, you don't want to go back to Tampa.
So ahead of the season, we talked about 12 potentially winning the NFC.
Yes.
No, 12. Yeah, it's not going to work.
Right. So what's the mark we're looking
13.
at now? The Eagles have to get
Probably
to 13.
So you're asking to win 1 more than what you were originally hoping.
But 12 can get you, with the tiebreakers you hold, 12 can get you the 2 seed.
Yes.
And as long as you get 2 guaranteed home games, I'll roll the dice that maybe someone knocks off the Packers at Lambeau, because, Wax's eyebrows has proven that his team has been able to do that in his tenure. Lose at home. The Packers losing at Lambeau in the postseason has not been something that's been unlikely.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not worried about going to any of the top other teams in the NFC, right?
I worry about Detroit.
And you don't worry about...
Especially indoors, what they do.
You don't worry about going to Tampa?
No, listen. Tampa, the weather's not going to be a factor at least, so you're not heading into anything there, and you just beat them on that field earlier this year. Detroit, I just watched Washington go in there with a rookie quarterback and hammer them. You could say injuries, hammer them. Jared Goff was not good in that game. I just don't see a place where the Eagles head in and they're automatically on the downside because of the building.
I mean, they were missing 6 of their 11 defensive starters.
Yeah,
I don't look at
through 17 interceptions.
Yeah, I don't look at it as and again, trying to do too much because your defense is terrible. I mean, I look at that as your defense just let them up big time.
Sure.
In that one. But that's not to say that I do think that, unlike Jalen Hurts, I think Jared Goff's a guy who's going to make mistakes when the pressure.
Yeah, and you saw that last year, to Connor's point. Now, just for respect purposes, the Rams 5-2, they're tied with the Seahawks for their record in the NFC West. If there were a team that would get hot and push for the top 2 seed, I would think L.A. We all in agreement, L.A. over Seattle.
Yeah, I still think Seattle's going to be a big problem.
The Rams have the Saints this weekend in San Fran against the Niners, which is always tough, but who are the Niners 2 weeks from now? What other players get hurt from now until November 9th?
When you say Seattle's a problem, you're talking in that division.
Yeah, and I don't think you wouldn't want to go to Seattle for a playoff game.
Bro, bring me to Seattle.
I wouldn't say that.
No, you don't want
Sam Darnold?
You don't want to go to. You don't want to go to Seattle.
All right, I'll be right now on whatever today's date, October 30th. Bring me to Seattle for a Sam Darnold playoff matchup right now. Say less.
All right. Really chesty.
That's very chesty.
Sam Darnold?
They host the Seahawks. They host the Bucks. They travel to Carolina. They travel to Arizona. They host the Lions. They travel to Seattle. They have a rough second half of the schedule. The Rams do.
Yeah, they do.
That's why that division is so open. That's why the Niners, despite all the injuries, are still at play, because their schedule is
now
so
the
weak.
Niners is the team that I'll gladly face.
Yeah, because
I'll be Connor versus the Niners.
They're running out of bodies.
If you're saying the Niners, I'm totally with you on your chestiness, but not with Seattle. That is a very, very sound football team too. They're a team that has shown they can travel too. They can
Was
travel
that a
and they
body
can
of
win.
water pun out of John Kincade?
I didn't even realize that.
The Sound football team?
It's the Puget Sound, right?
I like that.
All right, what do we got on the text line at 610-632-0975?
All right. No body of water puns, but we do have people checking in on the Phillies. And Anthony checks in and says, I wasn't buying the Phillies crap the last couple years when all they did was recycle the same team that choked against Arizona without making any real changes, and Dombrowski making us all think it was a mirage. Big changes need to be happening for the Phillies.
And that's part of the reason why I'm so angry this morning. If you're just tuning in, we started the show all
You really
pissed
are today.
I'm pissed off because
I got you.
I watched the Blue Jays handle their business. They're up 3-2. The series isn't over yet. The Dodgers could come back very well and win that series. But the point is, the Blue Jays have not looked overmatched.
Not at all.
By the, oh, man, we just ran into a good club. Oh, the historic pitching by Blake Snell and Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani and Tyler Glasnow. The Blue Jays have really had no problem with the pitching of the Los Angeles Dodgers in this series. And when I watch a 22-year-old starting pitcher who got called up in September have two great outings against the Dodgers in Game 1 and 5 of the World Series, when the Phillies are so scared to call up anybody, we don't want to throw these young kids into the big moment. And yet the big name players do get scared at big moments,
and they tell us that they're scared.
Alec Boehm straight up said the moment was too big for them after Game 1. And I have to hear Dave Dombrowski after the season ends talk about how they just got called at the wrong time, ran into a good club, and we just have to cross our fingers next year we don't play the Dodgers. That's such a defeatist mentality. It pisses me off this morning.
And again, though, here's what's making me happy today. The texters, some of our YouTube crew, I'm hearing people join the club. Getting older this offseason plan is not good for the long-term future of this club. It's not. And I'm hearing it from people this morning that they're going, what are we doing? We're going to double down on old.
Yeah.
And that's what they're planning on doing.
Blue Jays, 11 runs in Game 1, just 1 in Game 2, 5 in Game 3, 6 in Game 4, 6 in Game 5. I think they've been just fine against the terrifying pitching of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Coming up next, today's headlines with Connor Thomas. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5. Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. How about an added bonus to listening to today's headlines?
Dem bonus.
We'll give away a a 4-pack of tickets for Temple versus ECU, the Pirates, this Saturday, November 2nd, 2 o'clock. Or sorry, November 1st, 2 o'clock.
Beautiful
kickoff.
weather.
We'll do something from Know the Headlines. So, Connor, floor's yours.
That's a lot of pressure, but okay.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
Yeah, don't screw this up.
I won't. And that's because I got a lot of respect for our sponsors, Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Now, we have all been fired up about the start to the season that Tyrese Maxey has had for your Philadelphia 76ers. But there's another guy that's kind of going off to start the year, and it's a wild situation in L.A. right now with this man.
House to give from Minnesota into the hands of Reeves. 5 seconds. Reeves splits the defense. The floater in the paint. It's good at the buzzer. Austin Reeves does it again.
He's having a ridiculous start to
He
the year.
scored, 51 in the opener?
Is that it? 51?
Or no, sorry, 51 in Game 3.
He's also got a 40-piece in addition to that. He's averaging 34.2 points per game. Austin Reeves is out there for L.A.
Yeah, do you know how many assists he had last night?
How many?
16 assists.
Oh, my
Jesus,
gosh.
I didn't even see that. I just got the points.
So he played he scored 28 yesterday. He was 3 of 11 from 3, so you're going, a bit of a down game. 16 dimes
Okay, that's great.
for the Lakers yesterday. He's averaging 34 points per game, 10 assists per game, and just under 6 rebounds a game. No, he's
Wow.
He's having a hell of a start to the season. Him and Luka Doncic playing pretty well together, and then you just wonder, how does it fit
How does it?
with LeBron James when he comes back from the sciatica?
Does it?
My question to you guys is this. Seeing Austin Reeves average 34.2 points per game, does it slow you down on the Sixers a little bit, saying, hey, it is still this early that these things are happening?
No, I refuse to be dragged down by the.
I'm having
Wait,
fun,
it's
by the way.
fun. Yeah, it's fun.
I've not changed my expectations. I'm not saying that they're going to make some title run.
I've been desperate
It's
to
been
see them
fun
be
that
good.
the Sixers have been an enjoyable product, and I was sad that they didn't play last night, and I'm sad that they're not playing tonight, even though it's good for Joel Embiid's health and all that kind of stuff. I miss them. That's when you know they're in everybody's good graces, when you're looking at the schedule. You're like, damn it,
They
at
don't
least we
play
got the
tonight.
Flyers tonight.
Like there was no Flyers last night either, and you're like,
Yeah.
damn, I wish.
Oh, yeah,
wish
it
we had,
was a boring
wish
night
we had
last night.
something.
Oh,
We'll
we had
get them to
World
play
Series.
162 like the Phils. That'll be better for us, right? But yes, I was just asking just to see. I'm all in on the Sixers as well. Now, we've got something wild here. A crazy story out of the world of skiing, which we're going to call a sport just for the purpose of today's headlines.
It is a sport.
Did you see the Mount Everest skiing story?
No.
This 50-year-old guy, Jim Morrison, not that Jim Morrison, not of
He
the
died.
Doors,
Yeah, he died.
just became the first person to ever ski the north face of Mount Everest. Took the guy 4 hours at 50 years old. He's skiing down Mount Everest. He's tried it 2 times before. It's just absolutely wild that at 50 you're just like, I'm going to do
Okay,
this.
that's
Hand raise.
fantastic.
Hand raise.
What?
Is that why the company's called North Face?
The North Face?
I'm legitimately asking.
I don't think it's of Everest, but I believe
don't-
it's the north face of some mountain
It's
somewhere.
the North Face of a mountain.
I
didn't. No, I
maybe
never.
it is.
I never thought
Ah.
about that. Could be though.
Man,
Why not?
I'm not even smoking pot. That's where my mind goes. But congratulations to Mr. Morrison. That's awesome.
That's incredible.
Would you guys ever?
No.
No,
And I
dude.
love.
Bro,
skiing.
I've never skied in my life.
Which I still can't
number
believe.
one.
I still can't believe it.
I'm not some mountain man. Like,
What do you mean I'm a mountain man? What are you talking about? I grew up in Broomall.
You talk about these regular things like they're the craziest things in the world to do.
Mountain. You have to be a mountain man to go skiing.
Nah, you know what? Here's what we can do. We'll all go up for a trip one day. You guys go. I'll hang out in the lodge all day.
No. You
It's
don't get
fun.
to
You
just
would
sit
really
in the
enjoy.
lodge.
You would really enjoy skiing. It's not easy the first time, but if you did it, I think you'd really love it. I think you'd really love it.
You could snowboard with me.
I've tried that.
Connor likes the snowboard.
Yeah.
I tried snowboarding. That was
Connor, and I've said to you too, is I find the snowboarding much harder than the skiing.
I like my feet together. I don't want to do a split. I'm not flexible.
Well, no, I'm not trying that. I'm not even trying the bunny slope anytime soon.
We'll get you a couple beers and we'll get you out there.
You would try the bunny slope.
Give me a nice tube, and I'll have myself a day.
A tube.
Speaking of people,
tube.
What are you, 8?
Yes.
Speaking of people at almost 50 years old trying to accomplish something, the Philadelphia Phillies are replay for today.
If you're somebody who bought into that narrative of they were the second best team, has your mind changed? And for those of you who were like us and never bought into the nonsense, are you angry today or are you just so defeated that you don't care anymore?
I don't know if I'd say I'm so defeated, but the Phillies are locked into their position. For all of the, hey, what could they do different now that we're seeing what's going on with the Blue Jays? Since they gave out these big contracts to Bryce Harper and Trey Turner and Aaron Nola and the guys that they have on this roster, they are stuck on the hill of old, and they have to die there. It's pretty much their only option.
No, it isn't. See, that's the key.
You can say no. What else would they do?
You know what they could
don't
do?
They don't have to sign old guys to old contracts. You do not have to sign old guys to old
You
contracts.
have to give me an alternative.
You know what?
Concrete alternative.
Look, there's a couple of alternatives. You can make trades for younger players. You can
Correct.
sign younger players. Or you could even, nobody wants to hear this.
What?
You can take a step back season.
Yeah. No, what you can do is you do not sign terrible old contracts. It doesn't make sense.
You know what's a legitimate play? And maybe not for the Phillies, but for teams along Major League Baseball? Well, we're not going to sign anybody just yet because there's a lockout potentially coming.
Yeah.
So
And
why
by the-
would we sign a older player to a 5-year deal when year 2 won't be until potentially 2028 or half of 27? Like, that might be maybe not for the Phillies because they believe there's a window right now. Look, they think they're the second best team in Major League Baseball.
And that's where the flaw is.
But there are going to be teams in Major League Baseball that might make the smart decision. And I'm not talking about like the Marlins and these teams that don't do anything to begin with. I'm talking about some of the teams that might be middle of the pack or we're a 7th seed fighting for a wild card spot that go, you know what, instead of us signing a big free agent now, let's wait 2 years.
Because the contract, first of all, I do believe there'll be a salary cap.
There could be, yeah.
And if there's a salary cap, the contracts you've already signed, Nola, Turner, Harper, which are terrible old man contracts. You're then going to add old man contract to Schwarber, old man contract to Real Muto. You're screwing yourself with a salary cap coming.
You're screwing yourself that way, or you're screwing yourself when you don't have a catcher and you don't have 56 home runs. They're screwed either way.
There are
That's where
catchers.
we're at.
There are catchers all over the sport. You may not be as strong at catcher,
Sure.
but there are catchers all over the sport, and that's Dave Dombrowski's job.
Then where's 56 home runs all over the sport?
Well, you don't have to get 56 home runs there. You don't have to have a 56 home run hitter. You don't have to.
Be nice.
You don't. Oh, it's great. But if you want to, you don't have to go old man contracts. It's not a strategy that works.
What was the name of the skier? Text it in to 610-632-0975. The name of the skier in one of the stories from today's headlines. You'll win a 4-pack of tickets to see Temple take down East
I love your
Carolina
attitude.
University this Saturday, 2 o'clock kickoff at Lincoln Financial Field. Get ready, Owls fans. Make sure to get your tickets today by calling 215-204-8499 or visiting owlstix.com. Coming up next, I'll tell you the story behind the name North Face. But also, earlier in the week, we talked about the offseason that Howie Roseman had. And to his standards, it has not been great. Do we believe this roster is finalized? Hear from Jay Glazer about how maybe lackluster the trade deadline might be. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
An early deadline move. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Birds got busy yesterday. Even though they're on the bye week, they made a move trading John Mechie III and a 2027 6th-round pick to the Jets for corner Michael Carter II and a 2027 7th-round pick. Jeff McClain of the Inquirer joined us earlier on in the week, and he talked about potential moves for the Eagles ahead of the upcoming trade deadline.
You say obvious needs, but there are areas that you can address. The edge rusher position, cornerback, yeah. I guess everyone's talking about possibly the wide receiver, but that's not going to happen. So maybe one's possible. It could happen soon, too.
So, corner, check it off the list, unless the Eagles look to add more at that position. Edge rusher was something else Jeff McClain mentioned there in that cut. With the NFL trade deadline set for this next Tuesday, November 4th, we'll be keeping a close eye on other potential moves the Eagles could make. Flyers back on the ice tonight at home at the Xfinity Mobile Arena as the Nashville Predators come to town. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Sixers are off tonight. They play again tomorrow. Union take on the Chicago Fire in Game 2 of their playoff series up in Chicago on Saturday. And the Blue Jays beat the Dodgers 6-1 in Game 5 of the World World Series. Toronto takes a 3-2 lead. We'll talk to Jake Asman of ESPN New York at 8:55 for a little insight on Michael Carter II. This update's brought to you by Gary Barberos on the Boulevard. Gary Barberos going to put your rear in a Wrangler, Ram, a Cherokee, even a Grand Cherokee, starting at just $16,666. So push your tush to Barbera. Details at DallasStillSucks.com. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, a couple of things before we get to this Howie Roseman thing. So Cooper Flagg played well last night for the Dallas Mavericks.
How well?
Let me pull up his
his
stat line for you.
Edgecombe-esque?
No. He's only had one game where he's reached 20 points so far this season. Last night against the Pacers, he scored 15 points, grabbed 10 boards, dished out 4 assists. By the way, Anthony Davis exited the game with an injury.
That's a shock.
Yes,
it never happens.
It's a shame, but it happens.
It never
all the time.
happens. That's amazing.
But at one point, Cooper Flagg scored a bucket and did the too small celebration where he put the hand down to the ground. He did it after scoring on Mac McClung.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
He did it against a G-Leaguer?
You can't be doing the too small celebration against Mac McClung.
He is too small.
Whoopsie-doo, Cooper.
Like, you do it. You do it against a player of note because it's almost like, I'm here. I'm him.
Wow, that's incredible.
I'm King Kong.
What a great performance there, Cooper.
You can't be doing too small against Mac McClung.
Seriously,
What, just
stop.
because he's the circus boy they throw out there on NBA All-Star Weekend because he can dunk even though he can't play basketball?
You could do too small on anybody. I do too small against you in our pickup games on Wednesday.
We're playing pickup basketball. This guy's in the NBA. You can't be doing too small against McClung.
You're too small. You're too small.
Boy,
Mouse
that's really bad.
Give me the rock.
By
That's
the way,
weak. That's weak.
The North Face.
Yeah, what is it?
How about this?
Is it where everybody ate each other on the mountain?
What?
Remember the movie where they all the soccer team died?
Was Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal?
The soccer team. No, that was
I do
Brokeback.
know what you're talking about.
Where they crashed the plane and then but they didn't realize that
No,
if they
it wasn't that.
if they had just walked a certain area, they would have been fine.
It wasn't that. The North Face comes up from the north face of a mountain, but not what you were talking about, Mount Everest.
Yeah.
It's from the half dome north face side of a mountain, a specific rock at Yosemite National Park. About
Interesting.
that. And crazy how the world works. We unfortunately lost Pierre Robert.
We did.
Do you know that the North Face store opening, October 26, 1966, the Grateful Dead played?
Really?
That's Pierre
Did not know
Robert's
that.
favorite
Yeah,
band.
well,
So how about that?
Yes. I did know that of Pierre Robert trivia.
Yes, that you
That's
do.
an easy one. That's an easy one with Pierre.
All right. Is this roster finalized for the Philadelphia Eagles? We talked about Howie Roseman earlier in the week, not having the best to his standards off season.
No.
They made the trade yesterday for Michael Carter II to be a cornerback, but I don't think they're just going to kick Cooper DeJean out to the outside, and then all of a sudden he's your starting slot.
That's
Michael
what everybody's
Carter II.
assuming.
I'm not assuming that.
I'm not assuming it either.
I think it was a depth move, and hopefully maybe they can get him back to the player that he was a couple of years ago before all the injuries. We played you a clip from Emmanuel Acho earlier today where he talks about, hey, a couple of years ago he was one of the better players at the slots, why he got paid, we got paid, but since then the injuries have just continued to pile up, and he's not been the same player. Here's Jay Glazer earlier in the week talking about the NFL trade deadline. Now, he's going to say what seems to be a whole lot of nothing, but that's the point. Take a listen.
So I think there's more wishful thinking of names that people are hoping, right? Like teams are going to swing away for some big names, but I think that's going to be a little bit difficult. But I know, look, people are looking for defensive ends, so they're talking to the Dolphins about Chubb and Jalen Phillips. They're also talking to them about, a receiver, Jalen Waddle. New Orleans, people are like, oh, man, can we get an Alvin Kamara? But he's saying, no, I don't want to go anywhere. Max Crosby, I don't want to go anywhere. So those big names don't want to go anywhere. But there's a lot of teams are looking for wide receivers. A couple of teams are looking for corners. A lot of teams, everybody's looking for a pass rusher. So they are going to swing away. But I think it's going to be hard to get some of those bigger names. But we'll see. Everybody has a price.
It's a whole lot of nothing because there might be a whole lot of nothing this trade deadline. The last couple of years, it's actually been more exciting than the Major League Baseball trade deadline.
Yes.
I just don't see many teams that are going to be sellers. Think about it. Go to the AFC East. You have the Patriots and the Bills. The Dolphins are done. Jets are done. And he mentioned Chubb from the Dolphins and Jalen Phillips. That could be a team that
those are
trades
names
away.
those are names that could do it.
The AFC North, unless you're the Cleveland Browns, you're not counting yourself out. Pittsburgh 4-3. Cincy 3-5. Joe Burrow could potentially come back late in the season if they can stay afloat up until then. And you know how I feel about Baltimore. Even though they're 2-5, I still think they have a legitimate shot of winning that division. You go to the AFC South. Yes, the Colts are running away with it at 7-1. But if you're talking wild card, Jags are 4-3, Texans are 3-4, and they've won a couple of games recently.
They can't just write off the season to their fan base.
No, they're not going to do that.
No.
And so there's the Titans that are probably going to trade somebody away. AFC West, there's 3 teams fighting for first place right now between the Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs.
None of them think they're out.
And the Raiders, you heard Jay Glazer say, the one guy that people would really covet is Crosby, and he's not going anywhere.
No, he just signed.
The NFC East, if you're the Cowboys and Commanders, you're not giving up yet. Not for the division, but I'm saying for a wild card spot, you're not giving up yet. Packers, Lions, Bears. Like, I don't think the Bears win the division, but they're 4-3. They have one less win.
The Bears are not giving up on the first year of their new coach.
No, they're not going to do that.
They're not doing that.
The NFC South, you have the Bucks, and I think that's pretty much it. I know the Panthers are 4-4 and the Falcons are 3-4.
But I don't think they're giving up those teams either.
No. And then
because they give up, it's even worse.
And then the NFC West, you got 3 teams fighting for the 1 seed. That's why yesterday when we had Schefter on, I asked him, like, are there many teams that are in fire sale mode? Like, other than the Dolphins?
I don't think there are.
I don't think so. And so I think the trade deadline is going to be pretty quiet, which means the roster that the Eagles have is the roster that the Eagles have.
Well, remember, though, a lot of the moves at the trade deadline are not guys that we're even talking about today. They're guys that we have to Google.
Well, last year, Devontae Adams was a big move.
Yeah, but I mean, no, I'm talking about like what Howie usually does. Howie doesn't usually go get at the trade deadline. We're not talking about these A-list guys that everyone goes, wow, that was a blockbuster.
They've been named. Bayard was a name. Golden Tate back in the day was a name. They just never used him.
Yeah, but Golden Tate wasn't an A-list guy.
Robert Quinn?
He had a name, and Robert Quinn was an aging guy that they got suckered in on, that I can't believe they got suckered in on. But, I mean, it's like it's not the – Howie doesn't – what people talk about is, go get Trey Hendrickson, who's injured again, by the way. Go get one of those names. Those are the names that Howie's rarely making a move like that. I don't believe anything like that's happening.
So do you feel good about the roster that they have? Because I still do.
Yeah, I think they're one of the best teams in football. Yeah, they're one of the best teams in football. Would I like to see a little more? Sure.
Well, and that's the thing.
I'd love to see an offensive lineman.
I want to throw this out to the text line as well. It's 610-632-0975. And this will be a topic that we talk about today, and it's going to be a topic that we most likely have on November 5th when the trade deadline comes to an end, because I don't expect much, especially for the Eagles. Like, I don't. Are we going to come out of it okay that they didn't make many moves? Because let's face it, all season long we've been talking about cornerback 2 and the edge rushers. All season.
Yes, we have.
And right now, by the looks of it, your additions will be Michael Carter II, hoping Jacorian Bennett becomes somewhat of a player that you traded for at the beginning of the season, and he's just been too hurt to really get out on the field, and a guy that's coming out of retirement for your edge rusher help in Brandon Graham and the return of Nolan Smith.
And if Brandon Graham, if he wasn't a name in this town, this city would yawn at
a 37-year-old retired.
Going, are you kidding me?
Right.
But because it's Brandon Graham, everybody's all jacked up.
Yes,
about it.
So are people going to be good with it? Like, I wonder if there's going to be a lot of fans that are upset.
Well, to me, I look at it as exactly what we talked about earlier on in the week. This shows you how he's been chasing all year long, chasing to fix stuff that some of the mistakes he made in the offseason and stuff that he didn't correct in the offseason. It's been a weird year of chasing for him, where they literally seem like every move they're making is trying to fix something that they didn't fix before, or something where they made a bad choice with who they signed. And where's the draft class? Where's the draft class helping out?
Well, Jahad Campbell is going to be helping out.
No. I'm fine with it. I'm fine at the top of the draft class. You're supposed to be getting contributions from other guys in the draft class. And what's the vanilla gorilla
starting?
Yeah, I was going to say, how much more did you want?
At the top of the draft, you do. The vanilla gorilla.
Yeah, well, he's a 4th-round pick.
A 4th-round draft pick's expected to hit the field
and
on a mid-team.
and do something.
You got Jalen Carter playing. When are you taking him off the field? You're not. Jordan Davis. You have Moro Ojomo.
Jalen Carter had a game where he didn't play. Like there were times where you had opportunities where you could see guys, or you're going, hey, there was a chance Jalen Carter missed a second game, but they didn't feel like he pushed to play.
Well, the first one, I don't think Robinson was even active. Was Ty Robinson active week 1? Yeah, but then, remember he did the spit gate and he gets kicked out.
Right,
but
you can't do anything with that.
Yeah. I mean,
but I expected more out of this draft class. Honestly.
I did not at all.
You got what you got out of your first 2 picks and their starters.
I will tell you, they expected more out of the vanilla gorilla. They expected more than I think they've seen.
By the way, how come they didn't sign 41-year-old Mercedes Lewis?
Ridiculous.
You guys see
because
that?
Dave Dombrowski Dave Dombrowski's supposedly interested in him. He's in on him.
The Broncos signed Mercedes Lewis. Yes,
Wow.
that Mercedes Lewis, 41-year-old tight end, to the practice squad.
Okay, so they're seeing if he can be good to play 5 or 6 games for them this year.
What do you want?
No, that's what they're saying. They're going, hey, look, they're going. There's not a lot better out there.
He's 9 years away from skiing Everest.
Yeah, exactly.
Or getting a 3-year deal from the Phillies.
All right, coming up next, we check our text line. Also, something that we haven't done all season long, and I hope you're proud, Johnny. We have not done power rankings all
And I
season
haven't missed it one bit.
I'm curious where the Eagles stand midway through the season. But maybe more importantly, the betting odds. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia is a sports city.
Ed in Westchester. He'll be going with 3 of his family or friends to the Temple ECU game this Saturday, November 1st at 2 o'clock at Lincoln Financial Field. Temple Owls 1 win away from being bowl eligible. Congratulations to Coach Keeler for being able to just do that. The fact that we can say they're one win away from being bowl eligible
is ridiculous.
Is a win within itself.
No, it's ridiculous.
So,
if this team makes a bowl game, with no NIL dollars for the most part to speak, it's incredible.
So congratulations
Great job,
to
Coach.
Ed in Westchester winning
And
the
to Ed.
4-pack. All right, before we get to our text messages, and
You're
before,
giggling before you even say it. What now?
So this A.J. Brown stuff.
Yeah.
That we've been talking about at nauseum at this point. I understand, but it's a big story,
Sure.
right? Like, it's so much so that he might get traded this offseason.
It's the big story, by the way, every day. And again, yesterday, a block of NFL Live. So it's a big story nationally.
He could be traded in 8 months.
He could be, yeah.
And so that's a big story, right? The number one wide receiver on this football team, the guy that at one point we were thinking was going to go down as the greatest wide receiver in Eagles franchise history because he was on pace for it.
Right.
And then last year happened, which I didn't think was a bad thing. Run first. He still got his 1,100 yards in 13 games, by the way.
13 games.
Like,
That's
if he
the
played
thing.
all 17, even with Saquon Barkley.
He has 1,400
right.
or close to
And
it.
now this year, it's like, I'm not happy. It's like, what the hell, dude? What do you want?
He wasn't happy after the Super Bowl.
So I saw a response to Jeff McClain's clip that we posted on Tuesday. So we're 2 days removed.
Okay, what did he say?
So remember the clip.
Or they say.
Well, Jeff, if you guys missed it, Jeff McClain was sort of talking about the A.J. Brown stuff. And at one point talked about the blockbuster trade that it would have to take to move on from A.J. Brown, not just November 4th, but during the offseason.
Sure.
And he made the point of, like, everybody is movable. Like, there are no untouchable players. He said, look,
with the Eagles.
Yes.
Yes.
He said, even Jalen Hurts, there's a price. Like, if Cincinnati offered 1-for-1, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, they would probably do that deal. That's the portion of the 90-second clip that everybody's hung on to. They're upset with Jeff McClain for saying that about Hurts and Burrow.
I knew they would be.
Instead of realizing the real drama, which is the A.J. Brown saga. And that's another deflection coping mechanism for
when
people.
Jeff said it, though, I sort of rolled my eyes in my head a little bit. He was just tossing out a name.
Yeah, I didn't take it.
I didn't toss it out as him reporting or
No,
he's having a conversation.
Yeah.
But when he said it, I like Connor, I knew people would be completely triggered by that.
I just it's amazing. You read the reply. There's a lot of them. You read the replies. It's all about that 2-second comment and not the majority of the reporting, which is, hey, A.J. Brown could legitimately be traded this offseason because he's not happy.
Correct.
Instead of being mad at the report, be mad with the player that's not happy after going 6-2 after winning the Super Bowl last year.
Are you ever going to stop fighting against the tide of people on social media who have their narratives?
No, I just try to open the mind sometimes. That's all.
I don't understand it, though, Connor. I get where I like you try to just write it off and go, you can't fix it.
But there's some moments. Like last year, the Brandon Graham thing, the guy who wasted I don't know how much money to fly the don't listen to the media banner after the media was Brandon Graham. That's what
he was the media.
Come on, guys. Let's try to find a common ground. Let's come together. This world is too split one way or the other. Let's come together and bridge the gap, man.
Good luck. I don't understand how the moon moves
If I
the
was
water,
president,
but it happens. So
no,
whatever.
it's so strange though that the whole Brandon Graham thing was one of the funniest things last year. That people are like, "Damn media!"
Yeah, seriously.
It was Brandon Graham on his radio show.
It's a strange world, boys.
Oh, man.
Come on now.
All right, real quick.
Context matters.
Power rankings. Hit me with some football music.
Oh, hang on one second.
Your top 10.
Who's the power rankings?
Well, NFL.com, because we've agreed that
I
is
do like them the best.
That is the least biased of biased power rankings.
I do like it the best. Yes.
I have an addendum when you're done, but
okay. The Denver Broncos 10.
All right.
The Bills 9. The Bucks at 8.
Okay.
The Rams at 7. The Seahawks at 6.
Okay.
Ahead of both the Rams and the Buccaneers. And then your top 5, Eagles at 5, Packers at 4, Chiefs at 3, Colts at 2, Lions at 1. I don't have a problem with the top 5.
Eagles already beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, and they have one less loss than them.
But the Chiefs are
rolling.
Trajectory. They're playing much better than the Eagles are right now. And that's what power rankings is, John.
Well, maybe last week they did.
We can't do
or
this
what?
segment anymore.
I mean, to me, is that one? I don't agree. Up to that point, I agree with that one. I don't agree with that one though, at all.
All right. Well, that's where they stand. You can cut the music. But the odds have changed. You pointed out. I think we both saw it at the same exact time. The Eagles now third in the NFC for, is it reaching or winning the Super Bowl?
For winning the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So in other words, they're the third favorite in the NFC.
Right, and there's obviously some teams
And that's
ahead of
not
them
good.
in the AFC as well.
That's not good. That's and it's sort of a bummer because you just don't want to be third in the conference.
Yeah, but as you've said, if you beat the Packers,
if you beat the Packers
Monday night after the bye week,
it all changes.
They're probably number one again. Or maybe the Lions would probably be number one still.
No, I think if they beat them, then they'd have the tiebreaker over Packers, Rams, and Bucks. I think the Eagles would be back to.
Oh, how about this? Updated.
What?
Lions and Packers still ahead of the Eagles, but we now have a tie. The Rams have jumped up.
Are they tied
odds.
with the Eagles?
Both plus 1,000.
Yeah.
Chiefs 1, Lions 2, Packers 3, Bills 4, Rams 5, and Eagles 5.
If you believe in the Eagles and you believe that they're a good team, it's a great time to jump on the Eagles at plus 1,000.
Yeah,
because
it's
not going to. I don't believe it's going to get much worse.
Well, we have a friend at the show who doesn't seem to believe in the Eagles.
Who's that?
We might need to have another conversation with our guy Pete Prisco.
Oh God, what now?
Well, what?
He does the CBS Sports Power Rankings.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know where he's got the birds?
Probably like 8th.
Oh, keep going down.
Come on, where?
He has him at 11th.
Come on,
give me a break.
We might need to talk to Pete.
I'll track Pete down. That's
Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, I do.
What does he write to put the Eagles at 11?
Who's ahead of him, Connor?
Okay.
Who does he have him better than?
So the teams ahead
behind,
of the Eagles:
I mean. Yeah.
Colts 1, Chiefs 2, Packers 3, Lions 4, Buccaneers 5, Broncos 6, Seahawks 7, Rams 8, Patriots 9, Bills 10. Eagles
Okay, they've beaten
11.
3 of the teams ahead of them.
Very short blurb, but he says it's amazing what happens when Saquon Barkley gets the ball. The offense has been able to run the ball, even if Jalen Hurts hasn't been able to run the ball lately, even if Jalen's had some nice moments throwing it.
That's
Just something
incredible.
short.
So the 3 teams that they've already beaten are all behind them.
We got to talk to Pete.
I'll track Pete down. That's
always good bye week fodder.
That's
to talk
absurd.
to Pete Prisco.
That's absurd. That is absolutely ridiculous.
All right, what do we got in the text line, Connor?
All right. Pete checks it. No, I'm kidding.
Is that Pete? Yeah.
No. We have a check-in here on the Philadelphia Phillies from Mike in Turnersville. The 2 big things with Toronto, who was a 6,000 to 1 shot before the season to win the World Series.
Holy moly.
Are one, how they handle adversity, and also that you have Vlad Guerrero Jr. having a David Ortiz-like postseason. The Phillies have struggled through adversity, and their stars haven't delivered enough.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, it's and yet
I love that.
You want
That's
to bring
great
it.
stuff.
You want to bring it all back. Like
And they want to keep on doubling down. It's 3 years in a row.
They just get cold at the wrong time.
It's 3 years in a row.
They just ran
and they're
into the
keep
better team.
bringing back the same core that is declining, and they're going to bring back and just say, "Hey, this year it's going to work." And they're asking you to buy into it, folks.
Yep. Who is Michael Carter II? We get some insight from Jake Asman,
He's ready to go.
who covers the New York Jets. That comes your way next. It is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles trade for a corner. I'm Connor Thomas, and it was an off night in Philly sports yesterday, and the Birds have the week off for their bye, but they were busy yesterday, at least Howie was. They traded John Mechie III and a 2027 6th-round pick to the Jets for corner Michael Carter II and a 2027 7th-round pick. Jeff McClain talked earlier this week about potential moves that could be done by the Philadelphia Eagles ahead of the deadline. Here's what he had to say.
I'd say obvious needs, but there are areas that you can address. The edge rusher position, cornerback, yeah. I guess everyone's talking about possibly the wide receiver, but that's not going to happen. So maybe one's possible. It could happen soon, too.
So we saw the cornerback move happen, and it happened soon, just like Jeff was talking about. Could they add an edge? Could something happen with wide receiver? I mean, we'll take a look at that as we get closer to the November 4th trade deadline. Flyers are back on the ice tonight at the Xfinity Mobile Arena against the Predators. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Sixers off till tomorrow night. Union take on the Chicago Fire in Game 2 of their playoff series in Chicago on Saturday. Blue Jays beat the Dodgers 6-1 last night in Game 5 of the World Series. They take a 3-2 lead. They can clinch next game. Jake Asman of ESPN New York joins us coming up next to talk to us a little bit about who Michael Carter is, joining the Eagles as a corner. This update is brought to you by Macy's Backstage. It's a whole department inside your Macy's store where you can find the looks, all for under $30 with new arrivals every day. You never know what you'll find. Find a location at Macy'sBackstage.com. I'm Connor Thomas on your own for the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincade Salciunas, 6 to 10 a.m.
The Fanatic. WPEN, WPN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, A Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. We'll get back to our Phillies text because I woke up damn pissed off this morning watching the Blue Jays beating the Dodgers yesterday.
It's tough. I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah, because, the Phillies only ran into a good club. The Phillies, they just got cold at the wrong time and all. I bet you the Dodgers don't say that. Dave Dombrowski may say that for the Dodgers, but I bet you the Dodgers themselves don't say it.
I don't think the Yankees said it.
No, I don't think so.
In their postseason thing.
No.
But, hey.
Cal Raleigh said they failed.
I know our next guest is a Yankee fan, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he joins us on the Comcast Business Hotline every day. Business Big Day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. Does a great job covering the New York Jets. He's got the Jake Asman Show on YouTube, host on 880 ESPN New York, also Mad Dog Radio. He's all over the place.
He is.
And as his bio says, not a proctologist. Our man Jake Asman joins us. Jake, what's going on, man? Good morning.
Hey, Andrew, John, appreciate you guys having me. Hope all is well.
And you are a Yankee fan, correct?
I am. I can relate to the Philly fan pain losing early in October when the expectations were high.
But did the Yankees make excuses? Because the Phillies, Dave Dombrowski, future Hall of Fame executive, you know him from his time with Boston and your rivalry. Oh, we just ran into a good team, wrong time. Like, come on, man. You can't give me excuses like that.
You know what's interesting? The Yankees' built-in excuse is that, the playoffs are a crapshoot, right? So they'll say, we failed. We didn't reach our goal of winning a championship. But there's a lot of Yankee fans at this point who look at it like, is it really championship or bust? As long as the ballpark is filled, people are buying their chicken finger buckets, Hal Steinbrenner's making money, and Brian Cashman is seemingly convinced the Steinbrenner family that, hey, if you get to the playoffs eventually, you'll have a chance to break through. But the Yankees haven't broken through since, sorry to bring up a bad memory to your listeners, 2009 when they beat the Phillies in 6 games.
There you go.
It's just amazing that the big market clubs are the ones making excuses, but the small market clubs not so much. All right, Jake, who is Michael Carter II? We know that he was at one point the highest paid nickel corner in the NFL, and his play has dropped. So tell us about what led to the contract and, of course, what's led to the fall off for the newest Eagle.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I mean, this is a guy that a couple of years ago was one of the more, I think, underrated just players in general in the NFL. He kind of got overshadowed by the fact that he played in the secondary with a 2-time first-team All-Pro and Sauce Gardner. But Michael Carter, who was a day 3 pick for the Jets, was one of the better moves that Joe Douglas, the former general manager of the team, made. He's a guy that converted from safety in college to the cornerback spot, and he really became one of the better nickels in the league. That's why the Jets a year ago, they gave him the contract they did. Unfortunately, from really that point on, he's been unable to stay on the field. He dealt with a back issue last year that when he played, he wasn't right, and he missed a lot of time. And then this year, he never really looked right. There was some thought that maybe he's not the best fit for the new defensive system that Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilkes are running. And, when he was out there, he just was not the same player. Maybe the injury had something to do with that. Once again, there was some talk about the scheme fit not being great. But, when this guy was healthy, he was really, really good. There's a reason why they gave him that contract. But whether it's injuries affecting performance or not a great fit, the writing was kind of on the wall for a little while now, given his contract and what it looked like next year to get out of, that this was going to be his last year with the Jets either way. So, the thought process from a Jets standpoint is, hey, let's at least get something for him, and they were able to do that with this deal.
So, Jake, he can't play outside, right? I mean, he's got to be slot, right?
That's what he did with the Jets. We very rarely saw him outside. It would be fascinating for me to see how you guys choose to use him, because he's a guy that's always talked about how versatile he is. And I mentioned that he was a converted safety. He played safety at Duke. But he's never really been an outside guy, at least with the Jets. So if he could do it, it'd be the first time we've seen him consistently do it if he does it with the Eagles.
How do you think he could fit in a Vic Fangio system? Because as we all hear every single year, whether it was when he was with the Broncos, the Dolphins, with Philadelphia, that it is a complex system to learn. Do you think he's a player that could walk into NovaCare and pick up this system and be a part of a secondary that needs some help the rest of the way?
He's a very smart player, right? Not the stereotype all Duke football players, but obviously if you play there, you got to have some intelligence. So I definitely could see him adjusting. I think the big thing for him is just the injury factor, right? I think that was a big reason why you read, he helped facilitate this trade by waiving that injury guarantee for next year, just because he's a bit of a smaller guy. And he's been banged up. He's had a bunch of different injuries. He suffered a concussion this year that cost him a couple games. So, this is a player that when he's healthy, once again, he was one of the better young, corners in the league. He just hasn't looked like that guy. the last couple of years. But I think the debate is it because of the injuries or is it because of the scheme fit or a combination of both? He's still young enough where you would think, hey, you put him in the right spot around other good players, he should be able to contribute. So I like the move really from an Eagles standpoint because you're buying low on a guy who, at his best, was one of the better young corners, best nickels in the league.
Should it bother me? Because I like Wilkes a lot. And should it bother me that, he's like, yeah, I'm okay with letting him go? So you really are putting this more on probably money and health than it is on what the actual player has to contribute?
1,000%. I think the thing with the Jets, and I don't know how many people are really paying attention to a team that only has one win this year, but they made a trade a couple weeks ago with the Titans for a young corner named Jarvis Brownlee Jr., who's a big physical corner who could play inside. And when Carter went down, they put Jarvis Brownlee Jr. into the starting lineup, and he's looked really good. He had the game-winning pass defense to help the Jets get that first win against Cincinnati this past week. So with Carter's contract and the fact that the Jets could get out of it for just a $2 million dead cap hit, there was no scenario where he was going to be on the team for over $15 million next year. So it was just a matter of, hey, we already have a replacement in-house. It was a good move that the Jets general manager, Darren Muji, made a few weeks ago. Now we want to create a spot for Brownlee to be out there every game. And with Carter's injury history and the fact that there was no scenario where he was going to be on the team, I think it just made sense logically for the Jets to move on. But this is a guy that, once again, if you guarantee me his health, I think he's going to go out there and make some plays and at least come close to resembling the player he was from really 2021 through 2023.
How much do you think Joe Douglas played a hand in this? Obviously, former GM of the New York Jets and now back here in Philadelphia, sort of in a consulting role with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'd imagine he played a huge role in this, right? Because you look at Joe Douglas's draft tenure, while he certainly had some hits, a big knock on Joe Douglas was really after the second round, the Jets drafting was not any good. But Michael Carter was the lone exception in a lot of ways. He was a fifth-round pick in 2021. And, he's a guy that they obviously extended, going into last season because they felt good about his potential and he was improving. And he's, at the time he was only 24 years old when they gave him that deal. So I'm sure that Joe Douglas recommended Michael Carter saying, hey, if this guy is healthy, we've seen what he can do at his very best. He was one of the better nickels in the league a few years ago.
There's a lot of people who are telling us now, what if Pete Prisco had them 11th?
Yes.
Like the Eagles were 11th in the power rankings, things like that. As somebody who does survey the whole league and watching your content, I know that you do. Are you shocked the way people are looking at the Birds from an outside perspective, how the people look at the Eagles right now, and how dangerous do you think that they are when you look at the landscape of the entire NFL?
To me, the discourse surrounding the Eagles is always fascinating because we always hear, and you guys can speak to it because you live it every day, just, how tough it is and how, there's all these issues. And then, every week I watch the Eagles, they win. I mean, they're 6-2. I understand they had the 2-game losing streak, but there's all this drama. Every week we got a new athletic story. A.J. Brown's unhappy here, and, there's something going on with this player. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh, my goodness, would we kill in New York to have the problems that the Eagles have if they just continue to win? I mean, it feels like every loss, it's like, Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat again. I'm like, how is a guy who's won a Super Bowl, been to two of them, and has never come close to having a losing season? How is there so much discourse around this guy? But, I mean, from the outside looking in, I still think, given the fact they are the defending champs, given the fact that they have a quarterback who was the Super Bowl MVP not that long ago, I still think you put the Eagles right there with any team in the NFC because, if you're going to beat them, you got to beat the champion, and there's something to be said for that. So I always find it fascinating about the local discourse about the Eagles and some of the stories that come out, and then it's like, well, what am I missing here? They seemingly win almost every week.
You can find the Jake Asman Show on YouTube. Thank you for coming on this morning, giving us some insight on the newest equal, Michael Carter II. We appreciate the time this morning.
Anytime, guys. Appreciate you having me.
All right, man.
Jake Asman on the Comcast Business Hotline.
Just Jake for rationale's sake. When he was still a college student, I was talking to him as he was coming up in the business.
How about that?
And he's done very well for himself. Good to hear it too.
By the way, his you know how on Twitter you have your profile picture and then you have the header, right? The other photo.
Yes.
I'm Cosmo Kramer. The Ass Man.
It is.
Love it.
That's good. That's good work by Jake.
Too.
All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? Eagles and Phillies, of course, on the table as well.
Oh, you sound excited to hear about the Phillies.
I just are people still buying into the narrative? Have we gotten anybody that is still buying into the narrative? Or was last night one of those moments when the Flyers weren't playing, the Sixers weren't playing, the Union weren't playing? Maybe you were just hanging out with your spouse, and that's a beautiful thing. But maybe some of you sickos like me sat back, watched Blue Jays and Dodgers, and then said, wow, all those excuses that were made don't seem to be buying into the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are winning.
So there's one texter who did push back a little bit. Eric checks in and says, were the Phillies really the best team in the National League in 2022? They caught fire at the right time. Please stop with these hot takes about having to be the best team.
And again,
Who says they have to be the best
nobody's
team?
saying that they have to be the best team.
Nobody's saying that.
My thing, what was his name?
Eric.
They're built wrong.
Eric. The Dodgers they were the best team going into the playoffs, more so than the Phillies and Brewers. If we were going obviously just record, then it's the Brewers. But
Dodgers
I believe
had the lowest ERA in September ever recorded.
And so the Phillies
By
lost
their
to
starters.
the best team in the National League. But here's the deal. That excuse goes out the window when you point out what took place in 23 and 24. When they did not lose to the best team against the Diamondbacks, when they did not lose to the best team against the Mets, when they lost to lesser opponents those 2 years, and it seemingly went the exact same way, blown leads, bad managerial decisions, big-name players went ice cold against the Dodgers, but it wasn't just because it was the Dodgers.
And with Dave Dombrowski telling you his fairy tale of, how we just hit the wrong team at the wrong time. No, your team shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Your team was up 3-0 in Game 1 on Shohei Ohtani, and your shortstop couldn't execute a throw to home plate that would have kept the game 3-0.
By the way, the Mariners going into the playoffs, even though the Blue Jays are the 1 seed, the Mariners were looked at as the best team in the American League. When they lost, they talked about how they failed.
No,
right?
that was their team leader did.
Yeah.
What did the team leaders of the Phillies do?
Ask
Did you
for
hear anything about failure?
Ask for a contract.
No, yeah. Bryce is still trying to get more money.
All right, coming up next, should the Sixers be an example for the Phillies? Hear that next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
The Dunks.
Check out something that Unfiltered does every single week, which is really cool. Ricky and Bill, they look for the high school athletes that had a standout performance. So if a high school athlete in your life had an amazing game, match, track meet, any kind of great performance, get them some recognition on the radio and, of course, television, because this show can be watched on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. Go to 975thefanatic.com/unfiltered, and you can nominate the Unfiltered High School Athlete Performance of the Week. Include their school, what made their performance so huge, whether it was a buzzer beater or a record-setting game. They will sort through the nominations and announce a weekly winner each Thursday. So today, you'll get the latest winner of the Unfiltered High School Athlete Performance of the Week. The Unfiltered High School Athlete Performance of the Week is sponsored by VCSH.
That's a great program, isn't it? That's really great.
I think it's really cool. Every time I hear Bill mention VCH, I immediately think of VHS tapes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I still got. What do you do with
that's
that?
weird. I'm listening to you going. You have them changed over, if they are personal. You have a thing called. There's a thing called Legacy Box.
Right, and then they can.
I am not
they make it digital.
I'm not speaking. I'm not speaking on their behalf. I'm not getting paid.
Yeah.
We did Legacy Box twice. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's an awesome product.
So this year, my wife and I are going to try to start a new annual tradition around the holidays.
What's that?
I still have a TV that has built in a DVD player and a VHS tape player.
Okay, that's crazy.
My dad had it for the longest time. When I went away to college, I was like, "You're not using that. Can I just to plug my Xbox?" It's not like it got cable.
Is that the one in the basement?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you've seen
old
it.
ass TV.
Yeah, it is. It's the box. Like it has a back to it. Like it's not just like a flat screen.
But you can do DVD and VHS.
Yeah, there's.
I've never even heard that.
It's incredible. So what we're gonna do this year is when we were cleaning out the basement, we found a lot of Christy's old Christmas movie tapes. We were talking about A Year Without a Santa Claus earlier this morning because we were singing the Heat Miser and Snow Miser song.
Yeah, we were doing all that this morning.
We're gonna do it around the holidays, like maybe not a 25 days of Christmas, but like the week leading up to Christmas, we'll do a nightly VHS movie night.
Now, are you doing this where you're going to show Coop too?
Yeah, no, with Coop. Yeah,
you're going to show Coop.
No, it's not like
when you guys
Christy.
Now that we're going to show Coop when you were younger. Now
those are all at my parents' house, so I would have to.
Oh, so you don't even have some of those?
No.
Oh, because that is a lot of fun when you have a kid.
Yeah, we'll get there one day.
I can check.
We'll
Olivia cried seeing one.
I've done that.
She cried seeing me when she goes because she looked and she goes. She saw me as like a 19-year-old, 20-year-old. And we're like, here's Daddy.
Yeah,
she goes, it's not my daddy. That's not my daddy.
That's all.
It's like, oh, boy. There you go.
That's actually awesome.
Sorry, Liv.
All right. I know it might be crazy to say that somebody should steal a play from the playbook of the Sixers in Philadelphia. I know that sounds kind of crazy because the Sixers
Nobody was really saying that recently.
Right. Up until the start of the season where they are 4-0, and you hope that they go to 5-0 tomorrow night against the Celtics. But, John, I wonder if the Phillies need to watch what the Sixers are doing and say, okay, maybe we do need to get younger, and maybe we need to be able to take the kid gloves off of the young players. Is VJ Edgecombe being, is his hand being held right now?
No. In fact, they're throwing him. No, Nick Nurse is throwing him in the deep end like parents used to do with swimming.
Yeah.
Like we used to get thrown in the pool.
Yeah, figure it out.
And they'd watch you. They'd be close enough that you weren't,
sure.
but they'd throw you in the pool.
Yeah. Year.
Nowadays, people would be calling Child Protective Services on you and saying that's cruelty to kids.
Last year, did they hold the hand of Jared McCain before his injury?
No.
Big moments. He was playing, right?
No, Nick Nurse loves throwing him in the deep end.
So why not do, it goes back to why I was so angry this morning. If you're just tuning in, the Blue Jays take a 3-2 series lead yesterday. They had a 22-year-old kid from Boyertown pitch for the Blue Jays in Game 1 and Game 5 of the World Series starting. All right, and he struck out 12 yesterday. Now, I need to make it clear.
Oh, just that? You mean the Dodger lineup, yeah?
Yeah. I need to make it clear. Pitching is not the problem. But the thing that I'm trying to bring up is, they didn't care that the kid was just 22.
No.
The Phillies poop themselves whenever they think about young athletes. I see a lot of media people that cover the Phillies saying, Aiden Miller can't be ready yet. Well, why?
Why?
He might not be. Maybe. But why? You can't just point to his age as to why he's not ready. When I'm watching teams call up young kids left and right and then make an impact, the Guardians, I know they lost in the first round of the playoffs. Do you know what I don't. We never talked about it. Do you know what the Guardians did in Game 2 of their playoff series with the Tigers?
No. And that's the one they won. That's the game that they won because they had. I think they lost the first one.
Yes, they lost the first one.
Okay,
the
what
Cleveland Guardians had a kid make his major league debut.
Yeah, but
in Game 2, it was Chase DeLauder.
Yeah, but that's illegal. The Phillies have told that's illegal.
The Phillies would tell you that, yeah.
Yeah, they'll tell you that's illegal.
But
They're
think
not
about
allowed
that
to.
for a
You're
second.
not allowed to do that.
In Game 2 of the wild card round between the Tigers and the Guardians said, you know what? We're going to call up this kid in case we need him, right? In case, speed. Aiden Miller had 55,000 stolen bases this year. Let's call him up just in case we need him. And remember, there were times where you could have used a pinch runner, like the bunt heard around the world. They started DeLauder in Game 2 of a playoff series. But the Phillies, that is no way that would ever happen here in Philadelphia. So could the Phillies maybe, and Connor, you apparently talked about this on the Locked On Phillies podcast. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is. We did this segment 2 days ago, and it's a fair point to look at what the Sixers are doing and changing kind of. The biggest thing is the mentality, right? Because you can't reset the mentality of the Blue Jays feel like a team right now where they don't know any better. You can't reset veteran players who have been through postseason after postseason to that mentality. Right? You are who you are. You have your experiences. Just the tough thing of comparing the Sixers and the Phillies is when the Sixers get a guy in the draft that works, he's here. There's so much more of a journey to get there for Major League Baseball that it makes it tough to turn things over when you don't have those guys already at the level.
Yeah, but you know what? Crawford did do that.
Crawford was
right.
Crawford is one of the three most successful players ever in AAA, an all-time. Yeah. To not get called up with the numbers that he put up at AAA in the season.
Absolutely.
It was it's ridiculous that he was not up here.
He batted .334 in AAA this year.
And they did not bring him up. That is absolutely absurd.
And look, if there was a legitimate reason, like Dave Dombrowski tried telling you, he would not play every day, he's blocked. Blocked by who?
What were you blocking him with? Because they were set on, I paid this guy, so yes. I can't. That's what it was.
If you go back to the trade deadline when he was being asked about Max Kepler, his response was, well, he's swinging a good bat right now, despite him batting.
Uh-huh.
Now, look, credit Kepler.
No, Kepler turned it around a little bit.
But
sure.
At the time, it was a moronic thing to say by a future Hall of Fame executive. I'm really disappointed in Dombrowski, man.
No, I'm telling you.
Extremely disappointed.
No, it's going to be. But the amount of defenders of it is what drives me crazier.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, I wonder if there's any defenders left. We've only had one person so far today texting to defend Dombrowski. All right, coming up next, at what point does a union, and I'm not talking about our soccer team, need to just sit this one out? Hear what I'm talking about next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles busy on the bye. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Birds were busy even though they've got the week off. It was an off night in Philadelphia sports, but Howie Roseman and his front office made moves, trading John Mechie III and 2027 sixth-round pick to the Jets for Michael Carter, a corner, and the 2027 seventh-round pick. So we heard a little bit from our guy Andrew DiCecco yesterday on Unfiltered about a potential positional realignment for the defensive backfield.
If you go back to what Vic Fangio had to say on Tuesday, he pretty much poured cold water on the notion of Cooper playing outside. But when asked about, is it easier to find a slot corner than it is a nickel, he said, no, you may be correct, but we haven't solved that here yet.
So we'll see if there are changes coming with the positional alignment. We'll also see if there are more trades coming. Deadline is this coming Tuesday, November 4th. Flyers are back on the ice tonight at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. They'll play the Nashville Predators. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Sixers are off tonight. They play the Celtics tomorrow. Union take on the Chicago Fire on Saturday in Game 2 of their playoff series. That game up in Chicago. The Blue Jays beat the Dodgers 6-1 in Game 5 of the World Series last night. Toronto now takes a 3-2 lead in that series. This update is brought to you by Fox 1. Fox 1 is your home to stream live sports from NFL on Fox to Big Noon Saturdays, NASCAR, and more. This week, don't miss the Nittany Lions take on Ohio State. Download the Fox 1 app to stream. Fox 1, live sports streaming now. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
the union just have to sit this one out, right? And I understand that players' associations are always looking for the best of the people that play, right? They have to, they have to have their backs. The NBA Players Association is pushing back on the league for saying that Terry Rozier is suspended without pay. While we are in agreement with the league that upholding the integrity of the game is of the utmost importance, their decision to place Terry on leave without pay is counter to the presumption of innocence and inconsistent with the terms of our collective bargaining agreement. We plan to challenge their decision via the proper channel.
I agree with them 100%. 100%. How do you judge somebody guilty before they're guilty?
Unless they know he's guilty and they try to cover it up.
There is no such thing. There is no such thing because even if they know he's guilty, that doesn't mean he's going to be found guilty.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Nobody should have their income taken away from them when they're not guilty.
But he's not working for his income right now.
It doesn't matter. He could be malingering on the sidelines.
List.
They made that decision. The league no one should have their livelihood taken away from them because of an accusation of guilt. Now, when you're guilty, that's different. But no, you should not have that. If you're taken off the job, you shouldn't have your money taken away. If they say to you, Andrew gets into trouble driving to work one day. You're doing 110.
All the time.
You're doing 110. You get pulled over, and it's on Channel 6 that night. Then and the Beasleys say, Andrew, we're going to take you off the air for a few days. Off the air. They don't have a right to take your paycheck away from you unless it's in your contract.
I could be suspended without pay.
Unless it's in your contract.
Sure.
That they can.
But I could be suspended without pay.
If it's in your contract.
Here.
If it's in your contract, they can.
I know somebody that got suspended without pay that did not have a contract.
Well, then then they could go and talk to a labor attorney.
Hey, I'm back now. You can't keep me down.
Yeah. What did you do?
Yeah,
that's it.
No
well,
comment.
that's off the air. That's for the podcast. Post-show headlines.
I just think
I don't believe someone should have their income taken away from them for an accusation.
Well,
prove it.
Listen, he's got plenty of income because he's
exactly.
He won his.
I think
bets.
And again with the feds, as I told you, the feds have over a 99% plus conviction rate. When you're charged by the feds, they convict you.
Yeah.
So I believe he's guilty, but I don't want his income taken away from him until it is.
All right. What do we got on the text line, Connor?
All right, Sean checks in on the Phillies and says, second best team. Didn't we lose in the NLDS? So wouldn't that make us the fourth best now after this series is over? The team is broken and it needs to be fixed. We can make a new version of the game operation, and the board would be the Phillies organization itself.
I was shocked by the amount of people. Seriously shocked. And I understand, fans sometimes just look at things positive all the time. When it happens 3 straight years, I was shocked by the amount of people that agreed with the sentiment from Dave Dombrowski. I was actually stunned.
It's because they don't want to give up the ghost. They don't want to they're afraid to admit that what they've been buying into for years was a failed strategy, and it continues to be instead of admitting it, they're going to just keep doubling down on it. Dave Dombrowski doesn't give a damn about the 2028 Phillies.
No, he doesn't.
So he's just going to say, well, that'll be the next. That's going to be Preston Mattingly. Preston Mattingly is going to be stuck with these horrible contracts. Much like Ruben Amaro was left over a bunch of, stuff to clean up when he took over.
Right.
That's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a shame. I understand that fans want to be happy all the time. I do too. But, we knew the ending.
Some people don't. Some people, keep doubling down on this time it'll be different.
I'm watching the Blue Jays score 11 runs, 5 runs, 6 runs, 6 runs against the pitching staff. Oh, well, the Phillies just ran into one of the worst or best pitching staffs of all time.
And by the way, they have consistent innings. They know how to hit behind the runner.
Yeah.
They know how to take the extra base when it makes sense.
They're just hot at the right time. The Phillies were cold at the wrong time. That's pretty much all we hear. All right, joining us now on the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. We missed him last week. But, Johnny, I need my Baltimore Ravens to win so that I can not wear a rainbow-colored hat and a propeller, because I still believe that the Ravens will win the AFC North. And they play tonight against the Miami Dolphins, and now we get to speak to Mr. Thursday Night himself. Over 40 years in the sports betting world, he knows how to beat the books. From GBIWins.com, the number 1-800-885-2525. That's 1-888-525-2525. Our man Michael Westwood joins us. Michael, welcome back. Good morning.
Andrew, Johnny, I am back. Did you miss me last week?
Yes,
yeah, we did.
Always.
If I tell this, listen, if I tell you guys where I was, you're not going to believe me. My wife turned 60 years old. She insists we go on a 10-day cruise right in the middle of football season. Come on, man.
Was there
Gotta be kidding
cable?
me.
Was there cable on the cruise?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I had a great week last week. My clients made a significant amount of money. I had my game of the year win on Saturday in college. But let's talk football today, guys. Tonight is a great game. The line is way, way off once again. I think Vegas has had it wrong all year long on Thursday night. And obviously, you know what my record is on Thursday night. I'm on fire. So tonight, the Ravens are playing the Dolphins. The line 7.5 points. But the bottom line is, I've got something so big going on this evening that I'm going to give it out to everybody who calls my free recorded hotline right now at 1-800-885-2525. Again, that's 1-800-885-2525. You're going to be connected to my free recorded hotline where I'm going to give you tonight's winner, the Ravens and the Dolphins. It's free. It's on me. And I'm going to say something at the beginning of this conversation. Anyone who calls now, if the first 150 players who call right now, I'm not only going to give the Ravens and the Dolphins, I'm also going to give my Sunday NFL game of the year. The Bills are playing Kansas City. Do yourself a favor. Let me do the winning. Let me make money for you, okay? It's that time of year where the public is getting slammed. I want to win for your people. So, again, it's 1-800-885-2525. Call me now.
And the beauty for some, right, the Birds are off this weekend. It's bye week time.
And we can watch that Bills game and be totally relaxed.
Right. And that's a game that money or not, I'm watching Bills Chiefs because I can't wait for it. But the fact that if you call 1-800-885-2525, you're not only going to get the picks for tonight's game between Baltimore and Miami, you're also the first 150 people that call that number will get the picks for free for the Chiefs-Bills game. And, Michael, that's a game. That's a marquee matchup regardless of how much money you put down. That's a game that you want to sit back and watch.
That's almost a Super Bowl matchup, no doubt about it. I know the Birds are going to be in the Super Bowl, of course, but you know what? That's a great matchup. But let's dwell on tonight's game. Tonight's game is incredible, okay? Let's build a bankroll on this Ravens-Dolphins battle this evening. The public has been totally wrong all year long. It's terrible. The books are making a ton of money this year, guys, a ton of money. Now it's time to shut the bookmakers down. So once again, it's free tonight. I want your listeners to try me out right now, whether you're in your car, in your office, in the bathtub, at home. I want you to call 1-800-885-2525. Again, 1-800-885-2525. Again, it's a recorded message. No sales pitches, no hype, just winners tonight.
All right, well, go answer those phones, man.
Get those
Come
phones.
on, Michael.
Go
answer those phones. We appreciate it. Welcome
Thanks,
back, and we'll talk to you again next week. Again, 1-800-885-2525, GBIwins.com. You have Ravens, Dolphins tonight, and the first 150 callers gets Chiefs-Bills for Sunday. Thanks, Michael. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, buddy.
You got it, guys.
There he is, Michael Westwood on the Comcast Business Hotline. Hell yeah. Real quick, I saw one of our YouTube chats while we were talking to Michael, our man Idol 76.
What's up, Idol?
Salciunas is lying. It's like a handful of fans out there that think that that were okay with Dave Dombrowski's message.
Oh no, I could go on my own timeline and there's tons that have absolutely defended Dave Dombrowski
at the time. Now I wonder again. One of our topics today is do you no longer believe that narrative? Because that narrative got shot down yesterday.
And they're all doubling down on, are you in support of the let's lock down Schwarber, let's dock down Real Muto, let's get older?
We were just a couple pitches away, a couple base hits away.
I'm telling you, that's what they want you to do.
If Trey Turner throws it to the other side of home plate, right? That's something that Dombrowski said. If Trey Turner just throws it to the other side, they win the series.
If our shortstop knows how to make a play, makes a throw to home plate, it's 3-0.
If Kirkering doesn't try to hit the hot dog vendor in the fifth row, they might win the series.
If the stupid bunt play, playing for a tie with no outs and a runner on second, in a playoff game at home when you're down 1-0 in a series, let's get passive, guys.
There's a lot of people that buy into
all year long. I'm preach aggressiveness, and then he gets to the postseason and the sphincter gets all tight, and they start going, well, we're playing for the tie.
A lot of players,
oh boy,
got tight. And
Too much.
It's been going on for 3 years now, unfortunately.
Too much.
All right, coming up next, we'll check our text line. Also, NBC Sports Philadelphia did the grading for us, Johnny. We thank them as always.
Good stuff.
They did their midterm grades for the Eagles, some individuals, some position groups. We'll go through that next. Kincade and Salciunas before we hand things over to Middays with Marks here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Fanatics.
Here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Midterm grades for the Philadelphia Eagles, Johnny. You're a professor.
Yes. Now I got two classes too.
Now
I got to really get after it.
Yeah, now you got more work to do. When in doubt, ask for more work, John. That's always a smart way.
Good.
That's
yes.
always a good way to go about life. Dave Zangaro put this together, so we don't have to. This is his opinion, right? It's not like he's going by a book. It's not
Zangaro has really good eyes, though, and I trust that he's put a lot of work into whatever he's writing.
By the way, I had a professor once. It was one of my journalism classes.
Okay.
Basically gave us a book. You know how we had to buy the $800 worth of books.
Did they really make you do that?
Oh, God, yeah, it was horrible.
That's terrible.
Gives us a book about I think it was some sort of journalism with law, whatever. And during the classes, she ran a lecture, and she was writing stuff on the board, and you're taking notes of it. Right?
Okay, sure.
First test comes, and I got like a D. And I'm like, what the hell, man?
Okay.
Oh, well, I'm just lecturing you on how I see it, but the tests are based off of the book.
Oh, that's not cool.
And she did not tell anyone that.
Okay, that's not cool.
So
No,
we're
that's
all
not cool.
sitting there in this hour, 20-minute class, taking notes constantly because she's with the chalk, like constantly writing on there.
What kind of class was this with notes?
It
like
was
that?
it was one of the journalism courses.
See,
so I took that one more serious than, with all due respect, disasters of weather.
See, my daughter took that Mickey Mouse class
Yeah,
too.
like, it was
The
4
professors,
credits, baby.
The professors can put their notes right onto the computer program for you, so you don't even have to take notes. So like the stuff that's up on the boards and things like that, you can put it right onto the portal.
Come on, man. I'm way back. I'm 20. That was like 2015.
Well, now it is. Now it's
like, come on, you can't be doing.
You don't have to do
You
that.
can't be doing. Here, take these notes, but I'm going to test you on the book
That's
and not
crazy.
tell anybody about it. Anyways, go Temple. Midterm grades for some individuals of the Eagles or position groups. So quarterback, and he broke it down week by week because he does this, Dave Zangaro on NBC Sports Philadelphia. So for Jalen Hurts, he's given Hurts an A against the Cowboys, B against the Chiefs, A- against the Rams, B- against the Bucks. I actually would have taken lower on that.
I would have gone lower.
C+ against Denver, a D against the Giants, A+ against Minnesota. I agree. And an A last week against the Giants. The one that he was not good against the Buccaneers.
He was
but
not
anyways,
good. That Buccaneers should have been lower.
overall, he gives Jalen Hurts, because he then averaged it out, to a B. I think he's been better than a B.
I think he's been better than a B, but some of the grades are maybe a little lower. When he gets a lower grade, should have been a little lower.
Yeah. Like
The Buccaneers game was
honestly,
not good.
Kansas City, I would give more than a B, though.
So would I.
Like, it's not like that Chiefs defense was really good that day.
No, I'm going to give that one.
And
too.
he was very effective.
What did he get in Denver?
He gave him a C+.
That could have been lower.
Could have been, but Kansas City could have been higher. But ultimately, Jalen Hurts, B. I would probably ultimately say B+ for Jalen Hurts so far.
Yeah, right now I'd go B+ more.
Yeah. Connor?
Yeah, I think B's fair. I got
right.
no issue with that.
Running back. Now, it's mainly Saquon.
Right.
But, Shipley's couple carries, A.J. Dillon, and Tank Bigsby's big day. He has the running back room, mainly Saquon, at a B-.
I think C+, maybe.
That's what I said as well.
C+. It definitely starts with a C.
Now, how much is that on the offensive line? Which
Well, we'll get to their grade, right?
he gives them a B-. I think they deserve a C, man.
They deserve a C+.
The offensive line
I would have gone C+.
has not been good.
I wouldn't even go C+. I would have gone C, C-.
Now, these are easy grades.
So
Dave Zangaro, if
I would like his class if I was a student. Yeah.
Dave's class is Dave grading on a curve?
I don't think
what I wanna know
so.
here.
So now maybe the injuries are a part of it, as he writes in the little write-up. But
Well-
here is the weekly grades: B, B, B-. So Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams.
Right.
C, C, C-. Bucks, Broncos, Giants, and then a B against the Vikings and an A against the Giants. I thought they blocked very well against the Vikings. I thought they actually deserve a little bit higher than a B.
They did a
against
good
that
job
grade,
against the Vikes, yeah.
because the play breakdowns that we talked about so much, the improv plays.
Okay.
Jalen needed time to be able to do those things.
He did.
And he had time. So I
did.
thought the offensive line, the last 2 weeks, the offensive line has looked a hell of a lot better. And against the Vikings, that's even more impressive because, Brian Flores and the defense and his ability to scheme up all kinds of different pressure. But the Giants, it's not like they have bad players on their front.
No, in fact, they have one of the best fronts in football.
Yeah. Wide receiver. So, again, receiver room. He has a B. I think that's fine.
I would go a little lower.
Yeah, but here's the deal.
What?
Has it been the receivers or has it been the play calling?
Well, that's. I bet there'll be a grade for play
Has there
calling,
been
too.
bad drops? And, I don't really remember.
No.
Like the A.J. Brown not finishing out that
Well,
route.
I've seen at least 3 of those this year.
3?
I think there was 2 in one game. I've seen absolutely where when you watch a show like an NFL Live or somewhere where they're showing you AJ's not as inspired to play to his normal level.
But I don't think those are all on his targets, right?
No, those are on his effort.
No, but like what Andrew's talking about is just when they're getting the ball targeted to them, they're making big time plays, they're making the catches,
Yeah,
they're
like
running
Yeah,
the
but
routes.
but that's not part of your grade too. Part of your grade is you got to be, if it's team first, and I'm using AJ's quote,
Sure.
then you got to be able to do the things that when it's not coming your way, you have to be as inspired as you're supposed to be. And he's been clearly shown in multiple games where that is not true, where he's not giving us that. So that goes into your grade.
Okay.
Effort's part of a grade,
Okay.
right? Not just
Sure.
your yardage.
I haven't studied on tests, and I've done,
Yeah,
done
right.
well on them. Tight end.
A.
That's what I say.
A.
He gives him a B.
Why?
Blocking.
Dude, like,
But is that the whole room?
so it is the whole room.
Okay, but the whole room, then I got you. Then
But
it's
like-
in the B's.
No, but like,
But if Goddard got an individual grade, Goddard's getting
yeah,
an
but
A.
hold on a second. Is Grant Calcaterra and Kylan Granson and Cameron Latu hurting the team?
Yeah, because they can't block. They can't block. When you want, I'll tell you, if you get the NFL Plus, is something
the
good.
tight end
When you get the NFL Plus, then you can see it. They don't know how to block.
Goddard's been so good, I would almost raise the grade just because of Goddard.
Yeah, but he
himself.
can't get that group to an A.
Nice
Okay.
little A minus, maybe. We give him an A minus.
Yeah.
No, because the other
B-
guys have
B
not
plus? Can we go B plus?
No, well, B plus maybe. Yeah, it's got to be a B.
It's amazing.
If you're not
It
just
seems like these grades are very student friendly until tight end. It's almost
Goddard-
like, yeah,
Goddard
no, that's
can't-
the one.
No, because Goddard can't carry that whole room up.
Yeah, I was the guy in the group project that didn't do any of the work.
That's great.
Defensive line.
I look out for you. I look out for students like you.
Defensive line he has as a B. I think that's fair.
I think it's fair.
Interior's been good, but the pass rush has not gone home up until last week, right? Last week against the Giants, where they sacked Jackson Dart
Yes.
5 times. But yeah,
What
it's,
about edge?
well, it's defensive line, all of it.
Well, you see, that's where, to me, I don't like the grading because I think it could be
Two separate
grades.
Sure.
The defensive front, I could easily see getting a B, maybe even B plus, and the edge,
Right,
nothing
a
better
little
than
bit
nothing better
different.
than a C.
Yeah,
Nothing better than
That's
a
probably
C.
why it brings it down to a B, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that's hard, but Professor Zingaro is very tough.
Yeah. Linebacker B plus. I could see it even higher.
You mean an A?
Yeah, I think,
No.
like, has linebacker been bad?
No, but it's not. A means exceptional. Like you've done. It's been an exceptional position group.
Yeah, normally if you have a little bit of trouble stopping the run at some point and you have tackling
And they have.
issues,
So here's
that
the deal.
falls on the running.
If you
the
go
linebacker.
if you go week by week, which Dave does.
Okay.
A plus against Dallas, B plus against the Chiefs, B plus against the Rams, A minus against the Bucks, B against the Broncos. The D against the Giants that Thursday night where Scadaboo was just destroying them.
Terrible.
That's
I
what
think
brings
D's terrible
because he goes B plus Minnesota,
What do you have
A
with
minus
Vikings?
Giants.
See, I think B plus is against the Vikings is a little. I don't know. It's not. It's great.
Unless you count Jalix Hunt pick 6 as part of the
that's
linebackers.
part of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You see, that's too, Connor. Good point.
Secondary. So this is all of it. This is safeties. This is corners. B minus.
I mean, not unfair, but we
It's
know
just-
what the issue is.
Certain guys are
Second
carrying.
corner.
Certain guys are carrying everything.
Makuba struggled in tackling at times.
I mean, if you gave individual grades, Blankenship's not
He is not
playing to anything above a B. A B would be like a good grade for him.
Yeah.
And that'd be if Professor Zingaro was being nice.
Yes.
You got two guys that are getting A's.
Now here's what would you give coaching? Now coaching is
everybody. B.
I would give A minus.
Oh, you go A minus.
I would.
I go B.
I'd probably go B as well
Because the
Dave
offensive
goes-
coaching has been no less than a C.
Dave goes B minus
Ooh.
Yeah, I could see it.
because that week 6 game he gave him an F.
How about special teams? Like
Special,
it's been very erratic.
so special teams is B plus.
The whole year. Wow.
Well,
The
dude,
whole
Braden
year, though?
Mann's been
Yeah, but the whole year though,
Braden Mann.
the kick return game has had
Yeah, that's
two
been-
good games. Maybe 3.
You did
Out
block
of
a
8?
game-winning field goal.
Yeah, that's true.
No, the kick return- no, I'm saying
two in one
The
game.
return game has not been good.
You had 2 block kicks for touchdowns already this year. That's a pretty darn important grade.
All right,
too.
that's big.
I'm gonna quickly. Oh, man, a lot of people are just giving a letter, I'm guessing, as we're speaking. Damn, hold on. Because linebacker Neil gives an A- for the season. He gives defensive line a B-. Dawu gives the defensive line a C.
Wow.
Neil gives an A to tight end, which I agree.
Did Dawu say C?
He said C for defensive line.
I would just say
He also gave a C to Jalen.
That's ridiculous.
That's a bit low. He's literally he's won them games.
Seriously, and his numbers are his numbers right now are ridiculous.
And I've been critical of Jalen at times this year.
No, absolutely,
more than other shows. But here's the deal: he's won them games.
The defensive front, if you with the NFL, if you get the NFL Plus and you get to watch they would not be that bad.
215J Philly says C+ for secondary. Unoriginal name says coaching C+. How about that?
Well, the coaching has not been.
No, it hasn't. But again, and look,
but you have some good coaching, and you have some.
Yeah, Vic Fangio has been really, really good, and Sirianni just wins, man.
Yeah, and look, ultimately, that's all. That's what they care about. Maybe A.J. Brown, not so much, but that's what the team cares about. Tell us about life-saving cancer research, please, Mr.
Why don't
Kincade.
we do that? Because it's a busy day today. Hey, FT Young Heating and Air Conditioning Contractors, they made a donation to the AACR, and you can too. Go to 975thefanatic.com/AACR. I'm living proof that cancer research saves lives.
So I showed you guys this morning Coop in the Halloween costume.
That's a great Halloween costume.
Coop is a helicopter pilot, even though he looks just like Maverick.
He looks like Maverick from Top Gun, and it's a great picture.
So as you guys know, I have never considered myself, even thought myself as being cool. I don't. I know I'm a nerd. I know I am.
Right.
It was a bit of a tough moment thinking that my 3-year-old son was cooler than me. Didn't take long.
It's a low bar.
No, this dude, he was posted up against the wall.
No, he's very cool. Much cooler than you.
Dog tag.
Oh, he's cooler than you. But that's good, though. Skip the generation. Because your dad's a cool dude.
Yeah, no, it absolutely skipped the generation, and I don't care. All right, everybody have a great rest of the day. Middays with Marsh comes right next here on The Fanatic.